Houston, we have a problem.
I feel the need for speed. Ow!
My mom always said life was like a box of chocolates.
Help me help you.
You are a toy!
My team is dead!
There's no crying in baseball!
Relax. This pot is making you aggressive.
Wilson!
You complete me.
Hello and welcome back to We Bought a Mic, WBAM fam. This is a series on the films of Tom Cruise and Tom Hanks. It's called Tom v. Tom, A Tale of Two Toms, Cruisemas with the Hanks.
Okay.
Woo! Today, we're talking Rain Man, parentheses 1988, directed by Barry Levinson, co-starring Dustin Hoffman in an Academy Award-winning performance. This movie cleaned up a lot of big Oscars.
Yep.
We're going to be getting into it. Welcome. My name's Ernest.
I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do a Raymond Babbitt impression. I know that's what you were all waiting for. My name's I'm just Hunter today.
Of course.
I'm going to say.
And of course, I'm Drew.
Of course.
And joining
Who's
us,
on first? I don't know what's on second.
welcome back, Zack Perry.
Oh, now I'm the topic of conversation? Okay. Hey, what's up, everybody?
We just got into an argument, so he was on his phone.
Yeah.
I
He has
wasn't
so
winning.
many cool things on his phone. He can sit on his phone for hours.
I could, honestly.
How you doing?
I'm doing great, living life, got a haircut recently.
Okay.
Wow.
Yeah, it was a big
That's
step.
looking good.
It was a big step. Shaving my beard next, probably.
Nice.
Oh, okay.
So not shaving, like trimming. Just like, doing a little nice thing for
Do
me.
you ever go clean shaven like a baby's bottom?
I have done it probably like 3 times in the last 2 years. And it grows to that length in about a month.
Yeah, that's my problem. Sometimes I will do this every now and then. Wife of the podcast Gaia will like go out to like do something and I'll just shave my face completely down. So if she comes home, she's like, who the fuck is that?
I think my girlfriend would actually cry if I did that.
You got to leave the stash.
It comes back. It grows quick.
I haven't shaved my face with a razor since I was like 18, probably.
You don't just. I
You
like
don't
to
do
go.
a- you
I
don't
like to
do a
go
hard
down,
clean?
and then I like to go back up. I like to
I
just go
hate it.
fully clean. Like I go full normal Bob.
I liked your mustache when you were at the 100 Gex concert. That was amazing.
Maybe that'll come back.
Hunter looks really good with like a big fucking mustache.
Yeah, like
Big old
a
meaty
full
guy. I
mountain man.
look fucked up without facial hair. I will be the first to admit it that like there looks like just something.
You don't
fucking
have a
wrong with
weak
me.
chin.
I have. I think I do have a pretty weak jawline.
No.
It's you need the beard to kind of fill it out a little bit.
The beard looks good.
Thank you.
I feel like my chin
It's way too long.
protrudes. Sorry, we're getting off topic here.
No, we're not.
No,
You know what? I realized?
We're hyper fixating.
If anything, we're hyperfixating. You're right. We are. We're talking about beers. We're going to do it for about 20 minutes. And then we'll get into something cool like, I don't know, cars for another 40.
Yeah.
And then we'll get to our
The
topic.
You tell
movie
me who's
Cars,
the
or
movie
just
car?
cars in general?
I could get into the Cars universe.
Listen,
Okay.
I'm just saying when Tom Cruise starts also naming car facts, like there's an alternate timeline where Tom's like, "Fuck, am I autistic?"
Should he be the next Carfax?
If this was made in like
Mascot?
2028 and not in 20
Well, that's
1988, then
Tune into the
remake?
Patreon because we were just talking about this in the bonus Patreon episode about what hyperfixation things define modern masculinity.
Yes.
This was one of the topics, so tune into that.
It was very engaging.
amongst other very problematic jokes.
It was all highbrow stuff like that.
we were just shooting the shit, and then we were like, wow, we're getting into that right now.
That's I think a good way to kind of try to set the table here, because a lot of people are probably thinking, like, tuning into this, okay, what the fuck are these guys gonna say about Rain Man? What kind of fucking cancelable shit can we farm from
and we
this
did
episode
earlier before recording. We got it out of our system.
What's his
$5
name?
a month Patreon.
It's Zach Silver, I think is his name, is the guy who like tracked down the Shane Gillis tapes when he got SNL. Zach Silver's coming after our
Listen,
ass.
Zach, we'll just take any kind of listener at this point, especially if you're going to give us $5.
Oh, yeah,
please, by all means.
I mean, it's not like we're James Gunn talking about doing things to children on Twitter, you know?
Right. On X.
On X, sorry.
Yeah.
Well,
Which
it was Twitter.
where
the
It was
artist
Twitter.
formerly known
the
as
artist
Twitter.
formerly known as.
X was where he thought he was posting that kind of stuff.
Easy W.
Yeah. Just
Everyone would have loved
that
it.
was a simple mistake, you know? But yeah, I mean, I don't know. There's so many ways into this movie. Obviously, I said the Oscar thing at the top. It won Best Picture, Best Actor, Script.
We have not covered a lot of Best Picture movies on this.
Covering
feed in
Nick
history.
Cage and Robin Williams. No, we haven't.
Well, just even in general, just just have not talked a lot about various Best Picture movies.
Is that going to be the next series? Every
No.
Best Picture
Hunter
winner?
already
Here's the
did
thing:
that.
I have a head start on that because I have already watched all of them for better and for
Yeah.
worse.
I am going to scan you and do an AI Hunter on TikTok doing a dramatic reading of all your write-ups,
Okay,
by the
cool.
way.
That would be, dude, getting like an AI Hunter voice to sing like "Bring Me to Life." That would be so cool.
Ernie, I need you to work on this. I need you to go in the lab
Because
and
you
cook
put in
this up.
so much work into that. Like, we need to.
I know,
we need to
I
keep
was-
that ball
It's
rolling.
lost forever.
Hunter was talking shit about his
I'll find
letterbox.
it.
I know he deleted
I'll
his letterbox
hyperfixate on
review
it.
of Rain
No,
Man.
I did
do
not
not
delete it. I
delete
did
it.
not delete it. It's just some of the things are funny. It just life has evolved even in the last couple of years since 2020. Whenever I wrote that review, everyone's
That was
autistic
COVID. You had
now.
COVID brain. It was fine.
Hunter's acting like we live in a different world.
It's a different timeline now.
We live in a society.
We do.
We live in a Jover world now.
The other way to get into this movie is like the idea of like portraying mental disability on screen, which I think is like it's troublesome to like, you know, get on here and crack jokes about a movie that I think a lot of people have a lot of sentimental attachment to, but then you sit and watch the movie and it's fucking hilarious.
It's very funny.
It'd be like
That's the thing
making
that's-
fun of One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest.
Yeah,
you know?
it's because the thing is like.
that was the first like
Yeah.
mental illness movie I could think of.
No, I mean that's a good cop because it's in the same way at One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. It's kind of the difference between One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest and something like Patch Adams, where Patch Adams is trying
Or
to
Awakenings.
be or Awakenings, where it's trying to
Christ.
be. Well, at least Awakenings is trying to be like a drama. Patch Adams is trying to be like funny and charming and stuff, but it's too grounded
Yeah.
and to the point where it's just like kind of a drag. And there's definitely some specific plot beats in this movie that are just like the fuck was going on there in the 80s. But also in 1988, autism was like brand fucking new. Like people didn't know how to even talk about what this was because this was brand new to the DSMV. Like nobody had ever even heard of this before. And
then a little guy named Barry Levinson came around.
well, the thing is, like, this movie was huge for autism. Like, it garnered this big fucking for the autistic.
Is this
contingent.
Apex Mountain for autism?
I knew that was coming. I set it up right there. Right? No, but this movie, like,
I mean,
brought
I
in
think
so
it
much
was,
funding.
though.
I think 2023
No, I think
is
it's-
Apex
I think-
Mountain for autism.
I think it's Sheldon.
Oh yeah, Big Bang Theory.
Is Sheldon? Where does Sheldon rank in your favorite autism?
We can't
do that,
We
'cause
just did this
we
on the
did it.
Patreon.
That's what we were
Folks,
doing. We were
listen
doing
to the
that.
episode on Patreon. So, you're right, Hunter,
Spoilers.
and that also informs a lot of sort of the plot of the movie, like the mechanics of how certain scenes work and like the repetition of certain points being proven to Tom Cruise.
Yeah.
Which me and Ernest just kept on harping on when we were watching it.
Yeah.
I saw this movie for the first time like probably like 4 years ago and talked about it on the pod, and that was sort of one of the bigger points I came away with is this is not the movie you think it is. And I think a lot of it is because it has to lay the groundwork for like what is autism.
Yeah,
Definitely.
that's
Like,
Tom Cruise's whole character.
The world doesn't know enough about autism to dive straight into like the gambling plot.
Yeah,
because in
Tom
any
Cruise
other
was the insert, the audience insert.
Because in any other movie, that's like the plot of the movie is like you because like it's largely remembered. You said this, Hunter. Ernie said this when I first saw it. I said it. We all thought that this movie was like the log line of it was.
He counts cards
Tom
in
Cruise
Vegas.
takes an autistic guy gambling,
and that
that's
literally
not, it's a
happens.
sequence.
That
It's
happens
not-
an hour and 30
It's-
minutes
yeah.
into the
I watched
movie.
it. I watched it a month ago, And I was like, oh yeah, it's the Hangover bit where he goes to the casino.
Yeah.
And then I heard the 21 Jump Street. It's artistic, yes.
Oh.
Joke. When I heard that joke in Rain Man, I was like, oh my god, 21 Jump Street just stole that joke.
Yep. It
Real Carlos Mencia's over there. Phil Lord and Chris Miller.
Man, and it's a good thing that is like their most egregious thing that they've ever been accused from.
Oh yeah,
Lord-
that's the only thing they've been
Is
accused of.
stealing
Nothing
a
else
Rain Man
worse.
joke.
Lord and Miller or
Yeah.
Mencia?
Both.
Both.
Oh.
Both of them.
So let me backtrack a little bit here because we just dove right into
Yeah.
it. I think I stepped over myself a little bit in the intro because I didn't do my usual pop culture podcast pun.
Oh.
So it just kind of
Let's hear it.
derailed
Let's
my
hear it.
entire thing.
here we go.
I can't think of anything now because it's too late. But I think when I was in
Pod Man cast.
Raining Men podcast.
a pop culture autist cast.
no.
Oh, you
cancelable.
can't say that. You
Cancelable.
can't say that.
I
possibly
am
cancelable.
Drew is saying that's not it.
Okay. No, what I was gonna say is I think I said that this is a Tom Cruise series. Did I say it was a Tom Hanks series too?
Yeah, you said Tom v. Tom.
Okay.
You got that part in there.
Okay. Because what I wanted to lead into is Zach, you chose this movie
I did.
from a list of a lot of movies.
A lot. Well, Toy
that
Story 2 was gone,
okay.
Interesting.
and so this was my second choice. No, I picked Rain Man because all my life, everyone was like, "What's up, Rain Man?" I'm like, "What do you mean? What does that even mean? I've never seen
Wait,
this movie."
what?
I was like, I don't even know
Who
what you're
said
talking.
that?
Like people in elementary school, middle
No!
school, and I went to like 3 different middle schools and elementary schools. and
Oh,
high
and they're
schools.
like, how did
Hey,
they all
hey,
know
hey.
my name was
You're
Raymond?
our Rain Man.
Hey, your name is Raymond.
Ah, now we're in post college, fucking Rain Man calling. No. Actually, friend of the pod, Adam Sidorius, he's seen that movie. He's seen this movie, and he said Rain Man to me a couple times, and I was like, yeah, all right, sure, man, whatever. And then I watched it. I was like, dude, that's really messed up. I wish I could count cards like this guy, because then I'd be a lot fucking richer than you.
Right.
But win some, lose some, right? Just
Do you have a new brother that you didn't know about?
I don't have a brother
Yet.
and yet.
Yeah. Do you
not
have a
too
brother who's
But-
just like an absolute piece of shit?
No.
Like
I mean,
the worst
well,
person
it's like
you've ever
that's the thing. Like, would you rather have a piece of shit brother or an autistic brother? I would choose the autistic brother because then I would take care of him and love him.
And grow.
Unlike Tom
Here's the
Cruise
thing.
in this movie. Well, he did in this.
You're either Charlie or you're Raymond, and if you think that you're Raymond, then
I'm not. I am not Charlie from It's Always Sunny. Okay, I do not eat paint.
have you ever tried paint?
Ooh,
Have you ever?
So,
have you?
I
Ever
gotta call my mom on that one.
Have you ever dealt luxury cars before?
I just with a Lamborghini crane machine.
You're
So-
asking the guy who
Coming in
doesn't
here.
have a car.
This is a good way to start talking about Cruise in this movie because the movie opens on him. He is ostensibly our main character, even though it's like a real two-hander of a movie. He is playing maybe the worst guy of all time in this movie. It is.
Well, there's Hitler and then Tom Cruise in this movie.
He's
yeah.
genuinely like irredeemable. Like there is nothing good about him until the end of the third act.
Here's the thing.
He's horrible.
He went through a hero's journey.
Yeah.
Just a piece of shit to hero journey kind of way.
He used to be a piece of
He
shit.
used to be a piece
Yeah.
of shit.
And he's ready to hold a baby now.
So that actually, but before we get into that, or I guess kind of tied to that, I did want to talk a little bit more about like the whole Oscars movie and how this movie just fully swept the world by storm. I'll come out and say it. I think that Tom Cruise gives a better performance in this movie than Dustin Hoffman. Just because I think
wow.
Tom Cruise.
Hunter, this is what I said when I talked about it.
I think
said
Tom
the same
Cruise,
shit.
he has to
I
do.
agree.
He has to deal with
It's more
two
difficult.
emotional arcs.
Yeah.
Where I mean, Dustin Hoffman obviously has like the big showy performance.
He's doing
and that's
one
going to get the thing.
showy,
The thing is
yeah.
that like this movie won 4 of the big 5 Academy Awards. This won Best Pick, Director, Actor, and Screenplay.
Definitely not best actress.
Yeah, we'll get into that.
No.
We'll
not,
get into that
not
one.
saying not saying she's a bad
No.
actress. Just that
The
What-
movie
what
doesn't
do
do
you
her
do?
it
right.
does not pass
Yeah.
the
Did it
the
Bechdel test?
Bechdel test.
Did it
yeah.
win Best Kiss at the MTV? That'd be awesome.
It won Wettest Kiss.
Rain Man, more like Riz Man. Am I right?
Fucking rizzed him up. No, but Tom Cruise notably did not get a nomination for this movie, and I think it's because he is such a fucking sleazeball throughout like 95% of this movie.
But you love to
And
see it.
No, that's what he's the best at doing this.
It's not
He's so good at
2019
doing
where the
this.
Joker is winning, best actor
For being problematic,
Yeah,
right?
for being problematic.
Well, let's look at this in the context of just having seen The Color of Money and Top Gun, because I think that there is an argument to be made that this is like a notch better performance-wise than those two movies.
It's the degree of difficulty is higher.
I don't know if I would put the movie as a whole necessarily above Color of Money and Top Gun, but if you just zero in on Cruise, he is definitely operating at a little bit of a higher gear.
He's like I think the biggest credit I could give him is that like I don't see, this is I guess a spoiler for the categories, I don't see any other actor doing what he does in this movie, because
You could say the same for Dustin.
oh, I mean, of course,
You guys aren't covering Tropic Thunder, right?
We're ending before that, yeah.
Okay. Well, because he
Maybe a Patreon episode.
You come back for Patreon.
I would love to do the Patreon for Tropic Thunder. That was like my second R-rated movie ever.
wow,
First one was Step Brothers. Shout out Barb.
he just
Perfect movie.
it requires a similar amount of like true commitment to the part that Dustin requires. Obviously, Dustin was going to get the award if there was one to give. You couldn't sneak Cruise into supporting actor. He's all over the movie, so there was nowhere to put him.
He played more than
Yeah.
if anything.
Yeah,
it should have been best supporting. Well, Dustin would have won either way.
I know, but
Yeah.
but a supporting who's in like an hour and a half.
So-
Yeah.
you know, it's so hard. So they couldn't run Cruise, and it stinks because he really does deserve a lot of credit, because there are not I don't know, I can name maybe on one hand the amount of actors who would be willing to play such an awful guy. He's fucking stupid in this movie.
Yeah,
he's like low IQ.
Which is back-to-back movies that we've covered where he just plays like a kind of an idiot.
Yeah.
With just one super special.
And I'm not
He
even
did get his teeth fixed for this one, right?
This is we're gonna get to that. Don't
That's
worry.
a category.
That's a category.
That's a
It's
category?
teeth,
Oh, I love
hair,
that.
and unibrow.
He just like, because the business that he's in is like very glamorous, obviously. However, the fact that like going under like $80,000 can kill his whole business, I don't think he's even doing well.
No,
Look
1988
at
money.
the shack
Holy
that he's
shit.
sitting in. Like he's basically, it looks like he's in like a fucking airplane hangar.
He
Yeah.
could he sell like half of his assets and be like at 40, 50?
I have a lot of questions about him and his ability to manage money, but I think he's a fucking trust fund baby. Like he literally just
That's
No,
what I'm
but
saying.
he's not even a
doesn't-
trust fund baby in this because his dad said fuck
That's
you.
true.
But he's still like
So,
okay, he had
he's
silver
just-
spoon
that is
from the game.
that is
Yeah.
the business that you get into.
I'm not one to talk.
If you like if you want to be
The divorce really went well for you.
Yeah, I got a lot of perks out of it. yeah.
that's the business.
Christmases.
That's the
Two
business.
Christmases really pay off sometimes. You know what I'm
Jesus
saying?
Christ.
You get 4 Lamborghinis.
Damn.
Fuck my 2 Lamborghinis. I want 4 Ferrari.
I need to let's set the table a little bit more. Let me read the IMDb plot synopsis here.
There we go.
Which does not say the R word, rain.
You my heart just went, oh shit.
Ernie, we're not on Patreon. We're not on Patreon.
After a selfish,
If you want to hear Ernie say it,
If you want to hear him say the letter later in the alphabet word, it's gonna cost even more. That's like OnlyFans type shit.
after a selfish LA yuppie learns his estranged father left a fortune to an autistic savant brother in Ohio that he didn't know existed, he abandons.
Absconds.
He absconds.
Cons? Are you,
Wait,
you're
what
both
is
looking?
absconds?
like runs away.
Yeah.
Oh, he like kidnaps
That's
him.
the secret word of the day, Pee Wee.
With
Herman.
his brother and sets out across the country hoping to gain a larger inheritance. So it's under sort of malevolent pretenses. And then
Hold on, malevolent or benevolent?
no.
Maleficent?
He does it under
You said malevolent.
malevolent.
Okay, so bad.
Yeah.
Okay, I genuinely didn't know. What you were saying.
He's not trying to be a good guy when he takes him from the institute.
No, not at all.
No,
if anything,
absolutely.
he straight up
Selfish.
he straight up kidnaps him.
Yeah. And they're constantly
He's
like,
a horrible guy.
He's
Yeah.
Maleficent.
yeah.
And then he uses
right.
it like obviously spoilers for the movie if you haven't seen Rain Man from 1988. He fucking says, "Give me my money," or
give me $1.5 million.
See, that's
and I'll
the
return
thing
it, my
is
brother.
his general plan with this guy is harebrained. He doesn't really have a good idea of what he's gonna. He's like when he's at first talking to his cutie pie Italian GF Susanna.
shout out Susanna
On the phone, he's like, I don't know. I have him because like they want him. Like my dad wanted him, and I have him, and I don't know. Like he literally says that.
Plot used. It was like I have him for reasons.
Well, it kind of makes sense.
fucking-
It's like this guy's just dumb, and he has like monkey brain. He's like, yeah, oh, you want that? I'm taking it. It's mine. And then he like, so the way that any other like save the cat type script would work is like they get into the gambling thing really quick.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
But no, this guy's stupid.
Well, I do like how
It's a road trip movie.
it's a road trip
Yeah,
movie,
it's just
and I
on the
like
road.
how I will say this about the movie. I love how he is almost in this kind of purgatory dream state where you can never get to where you're going because you
It's kind of endless.
it's endless. Like you have a brother who you kidnapped, and it's like, oh, I need to watch People's Court by 7:30, or I'm gonna flip the fuck out. And, that was me with SpongeBob back in the day.
You pulled up at a
SpongeBob's
Texas
3 minutes.
country home, some farmhouse with a woman
I
and
feel
7
like-
children.
I feel like people who can't drive on the highway, like I'm just like, just drive on the highway. Like everyone does it.
It is
Like,
scary
what's
though.
so hard? No,
I
it's
am
not.
scared.
It's not. You got to be a defensive driver. You can't be an offensive driver. You got to just say fuck you, use a turn signal, then get the fuck over. there.
I-75, I'm offensive, baby. You can go 100 on 75. No one's looking.
I-4, I
Too
almost
easy.
turn my brain off and I just get to Disney.
Yes, and also every time I get on I-4, I'm like, this is it.
Am I gonna die?
This is it. This is when I die here, because there's people who are just like, I don't know what I have to do, but I have to cross 5 lanes right now, no blinker, and I'm going, and I'm not looking.
It's
if
that
you're
one
there or
Family
not.
Guy clip.
Yes.
Good luck, everyone.
It really is that.
Of course, there's lots of traffic.
There's lots of traffic. Let's not get into that.
Of course, I'm a very good driver. I'm an excellent driver.
Excellent. Dad let me drive slow on the driveway on Saturdays.
Oh,
Wait,
of course
you
on
drove the
Saturdays.
Buick?
Did you see?
So I
did
will-
you guys see the Dana Carvey impression?
Of course they didn't see that.
Oh my god! Wait, is
It's
it, what
the
is
most.
that? Was it Netflix
It's the most
or
cursed
SNL?
upload on YouTube
Yeah, this, like
ever.
I
so
gotta
they
watch
did.
this.
This is awesome. Me and Ernest. I thought this is really early to get into this, Ernest.
You should have sent it in the pod.
In terms
You
of
should have sent it
importance,
in the group chat.
But let's talk about it now. We watched afterward. It's an old SNL clip starring Dana Carvey as obviously Rain Man. He was the god of impressions. He's honestly doing an excellent impression.
Before you get into this, I saw Dana Carvey do an Asian man impression on SNL on TikTok, and I was like, "Whoa!"
Oh yeah, no.
90s
well, that's
SNL.
kind of the
He did
same
very
lane
much.
as the.
Yeah.
I mean, he's doing. I don't think it's offensive because he's doing an impression of Dustin Hoffman's
Dustin
impression.
Hoffman's
like you should be more upset at
Was
Dustin
it
Hoffman.
mean spirited or
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It's no, because it's not really about him. It's Rain Man, and he's talking to his friend who is Pete Rose, because this was right after Pete Rose's gambling scandal.
Was it actual Pete Rose? Like he was
no,
hosting?
it
Oh,
is Phil Hartman playing Pete Rose, and it's because it's right
R.I.P.
after the gambling thing. So Rain Man has been giving him like gambling tips. He's been like, of course you want to bet against the.
Okay, that's
the
actually
Reds.
funny though.
It is.
That's actually funny.
Of course you want to bet against Cincinnati. He's like, yeah, but that's my own team, Raymond. Like, well, I can't do that. Like they would suspend me forever.
Are they saying that betting on your own team is an autistic thing to do?
Betting, well, he's betting against his own team.
Oh yeah. But
That's why everyone hates Pete Rose.
and
Yeah,
that's
it's
why
'cause
everybody hates those Iowa players who recently got caught. Like, 'cause fuck
Yeah.
those guys. If
and
you're
then
watching.
if
Ben
you bet,
Stiller.
you should be allowed to, as a pro athlete, bet on your own
Yeah,
team.
bet
That's
on
cool
yourself
as fuck.
for them to be good.
Yes.
But if you bet against them,
That means you can tank. But if you bet on your team to win, that just means you have to
Yeah,
like
that's
do
more
your
incentive.
job.
Like, do the thing that you're
So
doing.
yeah. Anyway, it's
we
a
should
great
run.
sketch.
We should run NFL.
Yes.
Probably,
And
we
it's
should,
it's also a cold open. So at the end of it, Carter's
Wait,
like,
that was a cold open.
yeah. So at the end of it,
What?
he's like, in the Life from New York. Of course, it's Saturday night.
Well, you skipped over Ben Stiller playing Tom Cruise.
Yeah, this is the beginning. This is the
wait, I
first
love
time.
Ben Stiller playing Tom
It's
Cruise.
the first Stiller Cruise.
That's awesome.
Yeah, because
That's
this is
nice.
in like 1990 probably.
The reason why it's cursed though is because the upload quality is literally the worst
It's
you've
someone.
ever
It's someone
seen.
filming their TV.
Oh,
But the filming is the worst quality, and whatever it's being projected on is the worst quality. So it's like the fidelity is just being reduced at every step.
it's
They're
not
like
even
filming-
240. It's 144.
They're filming like a home videotape on a tube TV that was bought in 1996.
with a camcorder on tape transferred to digital. Anyway, the whole point of bringing that up so early is because the whole Dustin Hoffman choice, I think, is the big thing here. Like, so much of this movie is hinging on whether or not you're vibing with what Dustin Hoffman is doing in this movie. The choice that he's making, because Dustin Hoffman obviously is a method actor. Like, he went all in on this character. It paid off, got him the Best Actor award.
Well, did you find him believable? Because I at least found him. Obviously,
think
I don't have autistic savant people I know, but I found believable.
I don't know about believable, but I think this is one of the best performances I've ever
So
seen. It's crazy how good it is. Like,
So he's basing it off of a man named Kim Peek, who was a savant with autism,
and it was a similar kind of behavioral tics.
Dustin spent a lot of he hung out with Peek like a lot to prep for this role. I don't know. I haven't seen Kim Peek cook before in Vegas, but
I will say, I
It's
mean,
on my bucket list.
I don't know. I think the only other time that we've ever actually talked about Dustin Hoffman on the pod was Midnight Cowboy. Whenever
Yeah.
we did an episode of that during like peak COVID times.
Maybe a tiny bit of Meyerowitz stories. I don't think we did a whole episode, but we did some
we
Bomback
definitely
talk
touched on
around Marriage Story.
Dustin
It
Hoffman
really
series
is-
soon?
Dustin Hoffman is like, I mean, I think he's like one of the lost actors of that generation, of the like the Pacino, Nicholson. Like, when you look at
He did The Graduate.
he did The Graduate. He was in Midnight Cowboy. He was in Kramer versus Kramer, which is still one of my favorite movies ever. Another Best Picture
I'll watch
winner.
tonight.
And he's in All the President's Men in 1976. He's in
Ooh,
Tootsie
Redford,
in
yeah.
1982, and
I've
then
seen
Rayman in
Tootsie.
1988.
He's banger
he has
after
been
banger
in-
after banger.
He is above the title card, starring in 3 Best Picture movies between Midnight Cowboy, Kramer versus
Yeah.
Kramer, and Rayman.
he just didn't have
That's
the
insane. Like, that's unfucking
yeah.
believable.
He just doesn't have like the filled out.
because it's not
The thing
showy.
is- well, because
repertoire.
and he's a person that, well, he kind of loses it, but for a while at least, he was very picky about roles. This is an interesting time for Hoffman, because post Kramer versus
And
Kramer,
yet he did Mr. Megorium's Wonder Emporium.
yeah.
Never forget.
So he does Kramer versus Kramer in 1979, wins an Oscar. Then does Tootsie in 1982, is nominated again for an Oscar. Tootsie rules. I love that movie. If you guys
Yeah,
have
It
not
was like a
checked
big
that out.
success, right?
Um,
seen that.
He spends
box office
like
and everything.
5 years working on a TV movie, Death of a Salesman, and then
What?
makes Ishtar, which is a colossal bomb, like one of like the big classic bombs of the 80s.
Was it like a
And then
4-hour
Rain Man.
movie?
Yes, I believe so.
I
I've
feel
never
like I've
actually
heard of
seen
it
Ishtar.
and it being like a 4-hour movie.
Wow, 4.6 on IMDb. That's tough.
Yeah, it's a Elaine May film. I've never actually seen it. I've heard that it's good, but I've heard not that it's good, but that it's like
It feels like 4 hours.
it's like
Hey,
underrated now.
any Lenny Bruce heads out there?
Oh,
Is that the guy from AC/DC?
No, that's the comedian, the legendary comedian.
Yeah,
Lenny.
he said fuck and got like arrested.
Yeah,
People are so stupid.
Oh, is that the 13 words you can't say on TV? Or is it? No, that was
That's Carlin.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, but this is like a really interesting time for Hoffman. He just like kind of needs a big win and then kind of goes all in on this movie. Originally, I was just reading some trivia before we got on the pod,
As was I.
was going for the Tom Cruise part. And then
interesting.
Yeah.
he like read through the script a couple of times and was like, no, I really want to play Raymond. Had like an existential crisis while they were filming a couple weeks in. It was just like, call up Richard Dreyfuss or something. I can't do this anymore. Like I cannot do this.
All the
role.
people. Why would you
And,
name
like,
drop Dreyfuss?
Because Dreyfuss rules.
Like,
I
are
don't
you
know.
saying
It's-
like Dreyfuss could play an
Dreyfuss could play
autistic?
autistic.
It's like he plays better. He plays better.
No, but like apparently, like, from what I've heard on the set of this movie, just trying to read, because I've heard stories, Dustin Hoffman is notoriously like a fucking nightmare to be with on set. Tootsie is one of those movies that's like a fucking shit show of a production because he's method acting all the time. It's really annoying. But apparently Hoffman and Cruise just like had an incredible time on set. They were always constantly wanting to rehearse together.
Who's fucking annoying is Tom Cruise.
Well, apparently they would do rehearsals together where they would switch roles and they would read each other apart.
What?
Which I seen Tom Cruise
I would pay the Patreon money.
Oh,
for that.
absolutely! I'm like, release that shit tomorrow, and I would watch this.
Of course, I gotta jump out of a plane.
Tom Cruise autistic.
Of course, you gotta wear your mask on set.
Quest by Sea.
Did you see the other 3 people who turned down Raymond Babbitt?
Yes, I wrote them down.
Jack,
Jacko?
Robert De Niro, and Mel Gibson.
I feel like De Niro could definitely play it, but I feel like De Niro.
Have you seen Awakenings?
No, I feel like I have. But
that movie's tough.
It's the only comparison.
Wasn't there
in
another? Who was the
career.
other actor in that movie? There was like
Robin
fucking Williams.
Yes, okay, I have seen Awakenings, but it was like in the AP psychology class from like 20.
What the hell did you learn?
I learned that movies in AP classes is Florida education.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that sounds about right. Sounds about right.
Yeah, it was not a sub day audience.
No, it was not. I remember him. He was the golf teacher.
It was main curriculum.
Honestly, I can't imagine anybody replacing Tom or Dustin in this movie.
Yeah,
it's so
iconic,
perfection.
It's an iconic
it's
duo.
Catching Barry Levinson at just fucking apex for Barry coming right off of Good Morning
Mel
Vietnam.
Gibson played it though, and then those tapes of him screaming at his baby mama came out though. You'd be like, come on, you played Raymond.
I would assume.
You think that he could have fallen back on that as a crutch?
No, not at all. That's a character he played.
Yeah,
But
he
it's
could have been like, you could have been like, look, guys.
I went a little Raymond on that. It's like,
God.
no.
It would be like
Maybe everybody doesn't love Raymond.
You know how Kevin Spacey does videos where he's doing Frank Underwood?
Oh yeah, those are the videos. No. Like Mel Gibson will do that. He's like, guys, it turns out I'm gay.
Yeah,
it's okay because it turns out I'm gay.
Of course, I'm racist. So, can we? Yeah, let's talk about Barry for a minute because I think that he's on another plane of existence in this movie. Because
this is in between Good Morning and Toys.
Yeah, so Good Morning Vietnam, the thing that he figures out best in that movie is that you can just like leave the camera on Robin and let him do most of the work.
I will say Barry Levinson is a cool guy, but his semen.
Did you know that? Well, I didn't know this. Did you know
yeah.
that? Because I was just like, Barry, who is that? And it was like Sam Levinson's dad. And I'm like, oh, of course.
But then you go, dun, 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 dun. Barry.
Oh,
TV show.
Yeah. So
come on, Hunter.
No, I just missed that one.
I think
I was too busy trying to make Sam Levinson jokes. I'm sorry.
And they're easy. They're easy.
It's
you know, it's below the belt a little, but
take the layup.
Yeah.
So I think this is like handedly his best directed movie. He directs the fuck out of this movie.
Yeah.
The close-ups and oneers in this are like
the close-ups and
insane.
also what's the opposite?
The wides.
The wide.
Yeah.
We got this.
We're almost there. We're almost there.
We're good. We're rolling.
It's 20, like, it's not
20
narrow. It's like the other one.
The wides there are a lot of sequences where because he's alternating so drastically, you would just assume it's like a deeper personal moment, but it's blocked like it's a movie from the 40s where they just like they only had the one camera, and so they're like, we're gonna do it all in wide. And it works so well. There's a lot of stuff in the hotel room that does that. He does
the dancing scene is my favorite.
I know.
That's
so
like,
good.
That's
He
like,
just
honestly, bring up the dance scene. That is probably one of like my favorite scenes from this movie.
It's
so
incredible.
good.
It's just
so
cute. It's easy.
And
no one's
location
being
is
mad.
sick. He generally throughout the whole movie does a great job of just picking good locations to put these two guys to do their thing. It's very directorial. What he's not good at is sort of like interspersing plot into a movie.
Yeah, we were talking about
and
this.
so this movie is so good because a road trip movie is not about plot.
It's vibey.
Yeah. have seen this movie probably close to like a half dozen times at this point. Like I remember I watched this movie like growing up. This was a library DVD rental movie.
Ooh,
I think
cool.
way back when, there was something about this movie that like I was drawn to. I had like a fixation towards it.
This feels like a TNT movie to me.
It was definitely a cable movie too. But I think that one of Barry's big credits that we've talked about before is that you're right, that he's not the best with plot and stuff like that. The whole thing about what Tom Cruise is like trying to do and why he needs money because his business is going under is so tertiary. It does not matter at all. It's only about like with these two actors right now, scene to scene, what you are watching.
He struggles with a like premise. Like and this movie does well because, like I said, what would typically be your premise it comes like super late in the movie. That sort of happens a little bit in Good Morning Vietnam too, where like
it's not plotty.
You don't remember the plot.
Yeah,
You
because
remember the
most of that
moments.
movie you're just sort of watching Robin cook, and then you're watching all the authority figures be mad at him over and
that's
over and
so
over.
late in the movie though, right?
And then,
Where
well,
he's,
and
like,
then,
officially
and then,
canceled or whatever.
well, and then late, yeah, super late in the movie, like there's like a war shit going on, and it's that's like the actual plot. But like, yeah, this movie's the same. Where like it begins with some plot enough to set it up, like a perfect amount, and then
How soon do the kids start dying in Patch Adams?
They die. Oh yeah, they do.
They
die.
definitely do die.
Yeah,
forgot.
they're all like cancer.
Well, they're
ridden.
terminal, so
Yeah.
it's not.
Yeah, they're dead as fuck.
So
I will say, it is funny because now I'm just thinking about this, about how like we're gonna get back to punching below our weight class here and on Sam Levinson, because Sam definitely tries to do the same thing as his dad, whereas everything that Sam Levinson makes is not about plot.
It's
All
about
style, no substance.
Well, it's about
It's
style.
vibes.
It's
Yeah,
about
vibes,
vibes.
yeah.
It's trying to make scene to scene matter, which whenever it's executed well, scene to scenes, like that is what makes a movie great. That's what makes a movie rewatchable, is that you're drawn to like these specific moments, these specific
The
performances.
Halloween episode of Euphoria is probably my favorite Halloween episode of any series of all time.
And
I will
Sam
admit that.
can have those moments and everything, but Barry at his apex was the absolute fucking king of doing this. And a lot of it is just, you're going to have your like, I don't want to say athletic necessarily, because I feel like that has a negative connotation, but you're going to have a little bit of your show your director moments. And also, when you've just got some great actors and you're just going to fucking let them cook.
I mean,
And
do you think Barry let them cook and just like kind of took a back seat
Well,
and was like, the plot
I
will
mean, I
be
think-
buried?
I think
minimal.
for a lot of them, especially reading stuff about how Tom and Dustin like were like big on rehearsing together, like outside of filming, that makes all the sense in the world together, because they have an incredible chemistry.
but it is a
and
very
back and forth.
written movie.
It is. But like, I'm just thinking of, I think my favorite Tom moment of the entire movie is Tom during the will reading scene, which I like. I wrote it down because it just like is fucking Tom. It's the first time that we've been doing this series where it's like Tom is like a
Aggro.
shit. Like you could put this in the like Oscar for
A-lister,
your
yeah.
consideration
Like, it was his
clip.
A-list moment.
Like that, you could just do that. It's just like,
Where he's finding out about the brother.
disappointed?
Yeah.
Why should I be disappointed? I got rose bushes, didn't I? I got a used car, didn't I? This other guy, what'd you call him? The beneficiary. Yeah, him. He got $3 million. He didn't get the rose bushes. I got the rose bushes. I definitely got the rose bushes. Those are rose bushes. To what? To get upset? If there's a hell, sir, my father is in it, and he is looking up right now, and he is laughing his ass off.
Dude, Hunter, the next
Sanford
Tom
Babbitt.
Cruise.
Hunter's cooking.
Want to be that guy's son for 5 minutes? Did you read that letter? Were you listening?
Is
Hunter's-
this in the IMDb
fucking-
quotes?
Goddamn.
His eyes were rolled in
Yeah.
the back of his head that whole time.
I haven't had a Tom impression yet. I got to work on it. Like
You gotta go, ha,
So let's dig
all
into
four
Tom.
of us at the same time. Go.
the rose bushes.
I want to dig
rose
into
bushes.
Tom a
Yeah, the
little
rose
bit more
bushes.
here, because when I was sitting here watching this movie last night, I was thinking that this is definitely the best so far of the series. Of the three, I think this is the best performance, but there's something about Top Gun that's like
Yeah, he's more seasoned.
glossy.
Yeah.
He's kind of made to look more of like a superhero kind of thing. Color of Money, he's made to look more of like a child that like is swept up into this world of hustling and gambling.
In that movie, also his screen time is like
Right.
so low compared to this movie.
Absolutely, yeah. I think this one, what struck me is that in some scenes, he reads as younger, as like a little bit more immature, but he also reads as like a guy who's had to make it out on his own.
Yeah, he's an emotionally stunted
He's able
man.
to play both. Yeah, it is. It's playing emotionally stunted.
One of my favorite scenes from this is him when he finds out that he did know Raymond because he was the one who
He was the Rain Man.
Yeah, he was the Rain Man. Yeah, like
That's
that,
awesome.
I think
Rain Man
that
would come sing to
acting.
me.
Obviously, the Rose Bush scene is amazing, but when that scene hits, I was like, oh shit! I like actually believe him as this character, and he's not this massive asshole. He's like a guy like figuring out that he did know his brother. You know, if only because he didn't remember, but he knew him.
It is, yeah. Speaking of which, I love the way the script is written. It's Barry Morrow and Ron Bass.
Which I did want to, so they won the Oscar Best Original Screenplay. I did want to just go through here because I feel like, maybe you can speak to this, Hunter, like when you're doing your Best Picture watch through, there's not a lot of original screenplays in there. It's a lot of adapted in Best Picture. So I kind of wanted to look through like when the original piece kind of peeks out over the adapted, because that's something I felt watching this movie is like, oh, this feels a little bit out of step with other Best Pictures, doesn't it?
Yeah, there's a reason why even like in 2023, usually like the cool hip award, like the real fucking Oscar heads know that the real best movie gets Best Original Screenplay and not Best Picture, because
shout out
Best
Her
Picture,
2013.
I mean,
won Best Picture.
It's Her, it's Get Out, it's
Every Tarantino movie.
Yeah, honestly,
no, like
yeah.
that's
Every
usually
PTA movie.
The cool movies get the original screenplay moniker. I feel like that happened, of course, I mean, going back to the 70s and stuff like that, just because there was a little bit more grittier films that were written directly for movies as opposed to just being adapted from books. I mean, things like is One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest original or is that adapted?
I feel like it's
It's
adapted.
adapted by it's a Ken Kesey.
Oh, that's right.
novel.
Yeah.
So here
Obviously,
are
Godfather.
the best original winners of the 70s. Patton, The Hospital, The Candidate, The Sting, Chinatown,
Sting.
Dog Day Afternoon, Network, and Annie Hall, Coming Home, and Breakaway.
Chinatown was definitely original though, right?
Yeah.
Chinatown, Annie Hall, like it is like some of like the cool movies. 80s, I'm assuming is going to be a
here's
little
80s.
bit similar because the 80s Best Picture winners are rough, guys. It's
Oh,
not good.
Here's the 80s original screenplay winners. Melvin and Howard. What is?
I don't know.
I've never heard of that movie in my entire life. I'll admit it now on the pod.
Chariots of Fire.
Okay, that's a bad
Gandhi.
movie.
Tender
Oof, bad movie.
Mercies. Places in the Heart.
Oh my
Never
God.
heard of it.
Witness.
I heard that was a good one. That was not bad.
Hannah and Her Sisters. Moonstruck.
Let's go.
Oh,
Rain Man, and Dead Poet Society.
nice.
Yeah.
So they kind of like they fumbled the bag a little, but then they step back
Get
up.
back a little bit up. It's the
Went on a
80s
little
were-
run there.
Honestly, whenever it was the Chariots of Fire, Gandhi, out of Africa, I think is a threesome in a row, and I was like, "What am I doing with my life, guys?"
I wanted to ask you about this because you rated Rain Man 9.5 stars on Letterboxd.
4.5.
4.5. Yeah,
Or
yeah.
sorry,
9.5 stars. That's
Not
19
to be
out
that
of 20.
fucking guy, Ernie, but it's 4.5.
9 out of 10, 4.5 stars. And then it looks like you downgraded to 4.
I didn't know
Oh
if
my
you saw that
God.
with my last
So I wanted to ask you
Damn,
about this.
talk
because-
about stalker moment.
You know why?
right there.
Because now Hunter has some experience with autism. And as he said in his original review, he used
the
to
review
not.
is
Hunter, do you want me to
There
say
is-
what you said on the
there is an
Patreon?
There's an editor's note at the bottom.
It's like just found out. I found out that I have constantly been surrounded by autistics, and I didn't even know it.
Yeah, there's a bunch of like parentheses redacted.
Because
Be like, I have never met a redacted before. You were in your bag back then.
I was talking about
I wanted
autistic savants, which is what.
I wanted to ask you about how it must have been like to watch this movie in the depths of that watch through, and how it must have colored your like perception of the movie, and now revisiting it in comparison.
That's the thing that I mean, it is something that going through here, I've been like tweaking some of my ratings that I gave things and my overall master rating that I have, because a movie like Rain Man comes along and it is like a fucking cup of water in the desert sometimes, where you're just 80s, like, oh, this movie is like, it's fun, it's watchable, it has good performances, it holds up, it's not boring as shit, or just like bad Oscar bait where like Ben Kingsley is playing Gandhi. Like,
I'm never gonna watch that movie.
I know, it should have been Gary Oldman.
Now Gary Oldman could be Gary Oldman playing Mank playing Gandhi.
No, if Gary Oldman can play Harry S. Truman, Winston Churchill, Mank.
Don't forget Mank.
He can play
President
Gandhi, and I don't think anyone would be mad at that. Would I be mad at Gary Oldman playing Gandhi? No, because it's one of the best actors in the business playing Gandhi.
And we're back. We just cut out we just cut out 20 minutes of Zach talking about that, and it's on the Patreon. If you guys want to,
you really went in like excruciating detail, like how they would do the makeup on Gary Oldman.
I didn't know, dude. When you think about it, dude, why does Barry Levinson have the B movie poster or trailer? I'm looking at Ernest. I'm looking at Hunter's.
He's in the film.
That is what, when you look on Barry Levinson, it is known for B movie.
I'm like, what's going on here, man?
Is he in Barry B. Benson? Barry
no,
Levinson?
that's Jerry.
Barry Levinson?
So the reason why that cutout was 20 minutes is because Zach had to put on brown face and then take it off
to show what.
You can't say that.
You can't. Like
I can't say that. That is
podcast listeners.
That is the highest tier of the Patreon. Is that video?
I've only done white face, aka my face, in the entire history of my life.
White face parentheses geisha.
I have not done Aladdin. I have
$5 a month Patreon.com.
I have done the chick from Brave. I have done that one.
yeah.
All right, I'm walking off this podcast.
So
that was the line right there.
I have a
Merida.
I have a take that I'm really proud of that I want to drop, because we need to talk about Hans Zimmer's score.
Let's go.
His first ever Hollywood
major picture.
His big breakout.
It's a really interesting score. At times it really sticks out like a sore thumb. The thing is, all 80s scores are like this because
I hate it.
They just now discovered that instruments from other countries exist, and they're like, we have to have an African drum in here.
It's genuinely
the fucking flute.
They listen to Out of Africa, and it's like, guys, we found it. Every Best Picture winner is coming in.
I'll tell you exactly what it is. It's the album Graceland by Paul Simon. Just like ruined. It ruined these white men. Here's the
That's
take.
what ruined white men?
They were perfect. No
clean record from
Ronald Reagan and Paul Simon.
From the 1500s to 1980. Clean record. After that, holy shit.
So here's this take. Because Hans Zimmer very famously doesn't like watch like early cuts of the movies that he does soundtracks to, you know, like when he makes the soundtracks, like he sort of just like hears what it's about generally, and he'll write like his theme. I think with this movie he took it one step farther. I think he based his whole score off the title of the movie.
It was like a rain dance. Like he's actually gonna be doing like rain dances because he's the Rain Man.
Because there's no other.
There's like a rain stick at one point.
There's no other way to explain the African influence.
My review
of this score.
It is baffling.
It doesn't make sense.
In my review, when I first watched it, I was like, "This literally sounds like the opening of Epcot." It's like,
yes, no, exactly.
When he hits you with the fucking pan flute.
I said it sounds like your season 1 of Survivor Tribal Council.
Like I'm in the I'm in the land pavilion at Epcot, and I'm just like, what the fuck is going on in here?
I will say though,
he just heard Rain Man and he was like, oh, I'm good, I got it.
The scene when they're the main scene, like when the one that's on the poster of them walking out of the institution with the fucking pan flute blaring, it's fucking awesome. That shit hits good.
It doesn't make sense.
Can we put that in? Can we put
but it
in
works.
in this part of the podcast? Can we put the pan flute?
Or how about the fucking? It's like Giacomona, like the thing that's playing as the like Lamborghini crane is coming out at the very beginning of the movie. It's like, What is this movie? Did I like black out and I don't remember
cannot
what
explain
this
it
is?
in any other way because it's so insane. Except for the fact
I think
that
it's called Scatterings of Africa. Is the
Oh
title
my
of the
god,
first song.
Rain Man's cat. What the?
that's what I'm saying. He was like, I have the context. Genuinely, the album Graceland by Paul Simon came out in '86, and it was like, for every like music nerd, it was like a huge deal, and it was because they were like, whoa, this white boy stole Africa.
He's cooking.
Yeah.
What was he cooking?
It was also trivia fact, generally the inspiration for Vampire Weekend.
Oh yeah.
That makes sense.
Huh? Yeah.
I will
never
say
put that together,
this-
but the way
this-
now that you
when
say
you
it,
when you
shit.
combine all these puzzle pieces together, this is the most what was he cooking movie of this era.
Why does it work, bro?
It's crazy how
Why is it all great?
Hans, Tom, Dustin, and Barry. What were they cooking?
he went from that to like every single Nolan movie. Like,
Oh,
We're
yeah.
just
What
making
the hell?
worms.
Yeah.
No,
What the hell?
Oppenheimer's the new. What
except
was he
Oppenheimer.
cooking?
Yeah.
It's just
shout
so-
out Ludwig.
Back to Barry though. His after this, it's so bleak. Like
Yeah, Bill
it's-
Hader.
it
Bill
just-
Hader really made that a
I
bleak.
just,
No.
I,
It just
I want
falls
a do
off.
over for toys, man. Well, Bugsy is his last real hoorah,
I haven't seen it.
and then it drops.
Hey,
and
Hans
then he
also
comes
did
back.
the music.
Then he
for-
came back.
with what?
Every
With his
Nolan
child?
movie.
No, I'm talking about Barry. Levinson.
Oh,
He
not
made
Barry.
Man of the Year, and you're gonna say that he fell off? A movie about what if a guy ran for president as a joke and won?
No, but Barry Levinson does have like probably the most famous Nepo baby, and like we're never gonna forget that about him.
I think Zack Perry is a more famous Nepo baby. than
We're
Sam
getting
Hans.
there. We're getting there.
All right. So a couple more stray thoughts about this movie. I really wanted to shout out. There's one sequence in particular. I don't know if this fits into the categories, but the scene where they're talking in the bathroom and you can see the mirror and the reflection of the back of Tom Cruise's head.
Super long shot.
I was like, how did they do this? This is insane.
How did Barry cook?
It's the contact moment where
Yeah.
where like it's like the the opening. Oh,
That blew my
we
mind.
should
That
talk
was
about contact next.
that was one moment in this movie where I was like, oh, this is special. This
Barry
is like
cooks,
someone
man.
really
because because that's like a technically impressive moment, but like beyond technically impressive, there are a lot of moments in this movie where like they just location scouted a perfect place and like Barry knew the perfect spot to put the camera. The obvious example is the road of the the poster where like the road up to the mental institution, like where that they're just walking down. Gorgeous.
Yeah.
There's so
That
I mean
one
so many
spot-
road shots in general.
That's so.
That
that's
one
all you
spot
can ask
whenever
for from a
they're-
director.
Yeah, that one spot
Exactly.
when they are in the desert, and I really love. It's like a kind of a classic like 80s 90s movie moment where
he's
Tom Cruise
screaming.
walks out into the desert and goes, "Son of a bitch!"
Yeah, he has to
And
go on the
kicks
other
dirt.
side of the fence
Yeah,
to
he has
do
to
it.
jump a fence to kick some dirt.
The more I
It's
think
great.
about it, it's everything The Hangover does is they were like, let's just make Rain Man into a studio comedy.
well,
Into
I
like
mean,
and
Galifianakis.
make that just
when he
one
goes like,
plot line
shoot,
of this.
dang,
Actually, is The Hangover just a mix of Hangover and Due Date
or Due Date.
Yeah,
Well, no,
of Rain Man and
Due Date came
Planes,
out
Trains.
after
Planes, Trains.
Hangover. Planes, Trains, yes.
Well, no, I know obviously it's Planes, Trains, but there's a lot of Rain Man and Due Date. Is Todd Phillips just a big because that's a Todd Phillips as well.
Oh, shit,
Hangover
you're
and Due
right.
Date both.
Yeah.
It's a little bit twisted.
it's
Is there a lot of Joker
And
in Rain Man?
Galifianakis and Due Date is
is the Joker autistic in the Joker?
Yes.
He's a lot of things. I'm not even trying. I'm literally asking a question. I'm not trying to be cancelable right now.
we're just asking questions.
I'm putting it out
Bringing
there.
it up.
I'm making
wanna
a
ask
topic
the
of
question.
conversation.
Making
We're like Steven
conversation.
Crowder. We're just asking questions.
It's not like I'm like Ben Shapiroing it. Or
Yeah,
anything.
change my mind.
I would love to see the Ben Shapiro episode about Rain Man.
I mean, the Barbie episode was
Ben
amazing.
Shapiro sounds like Rain Man.
Of course, the trains and the kids.
I don't know.
I don't listen to enough Ben Shapiro.
Of course, if your parents support, that's because they made mistakes.
God. This episode was so cursed.
Well, I mean,
Why
like,
did we do this?
We did an episode. We're doing an episode about a man who is very, very autistic. Like not even like high functioning.
Well, speaking toward that, actually,
Yeah, we should talk
in
about
a
this.
more grounded way.
Yes. Yeah.
They say when they're sort of talking about Raymond in the movie, they speak about him. They call him high functioning multiple times because back then, what was like the only reason you would get diagnosed with something like autism is if you could not function on your own. You couldn't live on your own. So like on that spectrum in the 80s, he qualified as high functioning because he had this super ability to like remember things. However, nowadays, high functioning autistic means that you can like live on your own and have a job
Yeah,
and
you
like
just
make
like
money.
exist
But
in the
yeah,
world.
There's that scene where he's in the middle of fucking nowhere trying to do an appointment at a doctor's office, and she has no idea what the fuck he's talking
Or,
about.
or when he's like trying to cross the road and they're like, fucking move. And he's like, I have to wait. Like
exactly. Like by today's standards, because today, you know, you just like go to the doctor for the fuck of it and get diagnosed with stuff. Like,
well, no. So as a person who is dating a social worker and she, you know, knows this shit, if you're not diagnosed before 4 or 3, you can't technically be diagnosed with autism.
Well,
you can be,
Whoa.
and you can be like, you can have obviously autistic, not abilities.
Wait. Diagnosed before
symptoms and
what?
stuff like
You
that.
have to be diagnosed like as a child. You can't
Before you're 4?
be 4 or 5.
Yeah, well, that's
it's
whenever-
early. You
because
have
This
to
is
be
Joe Biden's
early.
America.
They always, it's so Jover. It's whenever you're looking for like, it's
That makes
because
sense.
they're specifically looking
So it's too
for,
late for me?
Like we
specifically
like
looking
because
for
we
low
are going to take the
functioning-
test in the middle of this pod.
Yeah,
We're
that's
going to
gonna
stop
be-
recording.
The
take the
Patreon,
test.
the
That's
patrons will be able to
Patreon.
Yeah, that's
see
Patreon.
So
all
I
the
can't
results.
tell my wife that my podcast is a fixation?
you just
I
have to.
can't be diagnosed?
You have to convince your parents to pretend that they took you to a doctor in Colombia.
Yeah.
Well, so
They
my
didn't.
my
They
mom
didn't allow.
Did,
we weren't
did
allowed to do
autism
that.
exist in Colombia? No, it's not allowed. No, but to your point though, Zach, like
my
in-
mom
in all
never. My mom got
seriousness-
me tested, and I think I either tested negative or she just never took me because she didn't want to know like the.
Well, there's
the
like
word.
there's
No, but to make it
Asperger's
worse-
in the 21st century is like the gradation, right? It's the gradient because
It's a
Raymond, yeah, it's the spectrum. Like Raymond in this movie is not like the one autistic person. It's just a placement on that gradient.
I mean, they
To
say
your point,
everyone
though-
has a little bit of autism.
Yeah, I mean, to your point though, Zach, like in all seriousness, because I did take like a class specifically on like autism spectrum and stuff like that whenever I was in college, and like
It was
it's a
court
thing,
ordered,
it's-
right?
It's because there was
What
like,
was the crime?
it was like this
What
whole
was the
thing.
crime?
You guys didn't know me. This was before I met you guys, but like
Sorry, I
I
didn't
found
mean
out
to
that I
yell
had
into the
this
mic.
brother, and like I tried to like I found out that he could help me with gambling, and so immediately I jumped on that. You bet I jumped on that.
and you didn't do blackjack. You did poker, and it
yeah.
became a whole thing.
This-
no, we did
Rain
sports
Man-
gambling. And it's just like
Oh, so wait, are you saying
He just
every
lost me tens of millions of
Raymond-
dollars.
Are you saying every sports
Yeah.
gambler is autistic?
Yes.
Is that what you're like
I would
putting
never
out
say
there?
that. What I would
That's you and me,
say,
buddy.
All right, we got to get this back on.
Yes, yes.
so categories.
So when Raymond walks in on them having sex,
Great scene.
was that the scene
Oh.
you realized that like he's really there, you know? Like he's not, you know.
It's
he doesn't-
not a fun
it's-
thing.
it's
It's,
not
a real
Yeah, it's
thing.
like him
I mean-
mimicking the noises of the
Like when Barry directed that scene, like do you think he directed it in a comedic manner or like a dramatic, this is a real thing? You know, this isn't funny.
I mean,
That's
this
walking
whole
in on
movie
them.
kind of balances
It rides
that,
that
tone.
line.
Yeah, it's
This
not
is-
just that
was,
scene.
This is the perfect segue, I think.
I think-
I will say-
I think that's sort of the magic of the movie is that it like
it's not comedic or dramatic.
No, and you are laughing like at him in a way, but it's never just at the
it's
fact.
not malicious.
You're not
No,
laughing
not
at
at
the
all.
fact that he's autistic, but like it is used for comedic purpose. Like for example,
You're right, yeah.
One of the first times it is when he first kidnaps when he first kidnaps his brother, and he's arguing with his Italian GF, and he's like, yeah, you know,
She has a name.
okay,
I don't remember it, but she has a name.
Susanna.
Susanna.
Gorlami.
So were you not?
Oh, Maron.
well, when he's just like when he's like, I mean, I'm not using him, Raymond, I'm not using you, am I? And Raymond's like, yes. Like that, you know, like that's
like you don't ask you don't
Yeah.
ask an autistic person like, hey,
I don't know.
am I using you? Like, no, they're gonna
You
be
don't-
honest.
yeah, you don't ask-
They're gonna
yeah,
tell you the
exactly.
truth,
Or they
which
just
is-
say yeah, or
asking the objective
Yeah,
homie about.
yeah.
Hey, you know what's a
Do you think I have a chance with her? No, you don't. You know.
I will say one thing that I noticed on this watch through is the way that Tom and Dustin both say "I don't know" is like exactly like
They're
each other. They
brothers.
both just say like "I don't know."
Whoa,
It's
that's
like
cool.
like right on it, where it's just a thing
Yeah,
where it's like
shit.
they like it's a brother thing. It's picking up on each other. I don't know.
Like, does he say I can't? Because I don't remember this because you're bringing it up now. But do you like earlier? Does he say I don't know?
I
and
don't
it's-
think he says I don't know until like he's around.
But he picks
He's
it up
around Dustin
because that's a
little bit,
very
and he
human
just kind of
thing
like
to
picks
do.
it up like
picking
yeah,
up people's.
Yeah, you just pick up. I always just call things like fucking beast mode epic sauce now because around these guys.
I always say hot. You know,
I always
now.
just call.
say
I always
hot.
just like think about how Baby Gronk could fit into any situation because I'm around.
Baby
these
Gronk
guys.
did Riz up Livy Dunn, and now Ice Spice is there.
Would
of
Baby
course,
Gronk,
Baby Gronk
have?
just wrist up. Like,
Of course, Baby Gronk just rizzed up Susanna. So.
Gotta
Baby
tune in.
Gronk
Gotta tune
signed
into
in
the new-
Alabama.
Wet
Is
kids.
this
Wet kids
is this,
from Baby
Got to
Gronk.
tune into the new TikTok in 3 minutes. It's coming up.
he was. This is another one. I think you dropped this, but Raymond is the original iPad kid.
well, that's like saying all iPad kids.
And he has to put Raymond.
He just puts him in the
front
side
of
with his little TV. Yeah, his little TV phone thing. Had that been like depicted in movies before?
I mean,
Well,
there's a
you've
lot
seen
of
a Walkman,
80s.
but the Watchman.
I know, but
Watchman
like
is
the idea of a
lost
character
to
who is
time.
just
Watchmen
sort of like
from Zack Snyder.
Yeah, the Zack Snyder's Watchman.
Yeah, yes,
Who
the
watches the Watchmen?
Watchman.
And it's Raymond. Rain Man watches Watchmen.
The tech, the 80s tech
it's great.
is
His
really
his
good.
TV thing is very cool.
I mean, it's no Rocky 4 with the robot, or was that Rocky 5?
That's too much. That crosses.
Is that
cro-
Rocky Balboa?
No, that's definitely.
4.
He's like homeless in that movie almost.
I haven't seen
I
that.
know. He's like punches people, right? That's his
something
thing.
to that effect.
Yeah.
All right. Any more thoughts before we get to the categories on anything that happens in the movie?
I will just say
breeze through a lot of the plot.
the ending of this movie is
The
phenomenal.
train.
I love just the last act of this movie.
It really ties everything together.
From the Vegas stuff through the very end. The fire alarm scene is like really gut wrenching.
heartbreaking,
It's like
yeah.
really, really affecting. There's a lot of points in this movie where like I do understand why it's very hard for people to watch because for the most part it is just people being mean to
It was a breeze for me. I don't know.
People
what you're
being
talking
mean
about.
to like a highly autistic guy. Like
Yeah.
so I do get that
people.
part.
It's mostly Tom Cruise being.
It's mostly
Yeah, it's only
but
Tom Cruise.
It's other people just like not understanding and just being like, "Ooh, you're weird. You're a freak."
I know.
The
Well,
doctor, the guy on the road, like who else is mean to him?
But
can
they're
we
not
talk-
mean.
Can we
They're
talk
not.
about the guy in the waiting room? How he's just like talking.
yeah.
That
Yeah,
scene
he
is
should've
awesome.
also-
Oh, so
friend.
that is a real guy.
Yeah,
who's
real
just
guy.
at
Yeah,
the
yeah, yeah.
institution, and like I guess Barry Levinson is just like this guy fucking rules. I'm just gonna put
Yeah,
a
he
camera.
just
on
That's
him.
get
always
him
the
to
best.
talk.
Those are always the best background actors.
Yeah,
like,
like they
They
this
did the
fucking
same
guy,
thing in Patch
he's
Adams.
in it
They were
for
just
no
like
reason.
they found like a really cool dying kid, and they're
Right,
like, we
right.
gotta include this guy.
So
in here.
I filmed the movie 2 years ago. It hasn't been released yet, but the snake handler was just like he fit the description of the movie, and they were like,
Gangster.
"Hey, you want to be in it? Like you can be in it."
You did sound for this movie.
I was learning sound
Okay.
for that movie, and then 2 months later,
Maybe it's not
I was-
released because the sound wasn't.
Hey, Scott Perry just mixed the shit out of that,
Okay.
and did most of the sound work.
Oh,
but
so
I
this
helped
is
shout
like
to
this is
Scott.
like a movie.
movie. Yeah,
Oh, shit,
Yeah,
okay.
I'm not gonna say the title or who directed it.
it's
but we killed
well,
it.
you can say it for the pot for the
We are in
Patreon.
a strike.
I mean, no, it's the Fablemans 2.
when it's finally released, because it will
Two
be
Fable,
released,
two Mans.
I will announce it. You
No
guys can repost
exclusive.
it.
No exclusive yet.
No,
We did
not
get
yet.
the exclusive last
it
week
was-
with Spike 2.
It just hit a festival recently, though. I will
Oh, so it is.
like it's finished, but
Okay.
it's just being like
the Eastern Los Angeles International Film Festival that Nathan
fuck,
Fielder
wait.
invented.
No, actually, I'm not gonna say which, but it was like a random city in California film festival. I will
Wait.
admit that.
Temecula.
There's a couple.
No. It was a little bit better than
There's a
Temecula.
couple things that I wanted to say on what you were just saying, where there's something that we need to nail down with this movie here as we kind of shift to the categories, where we haven't talked in specifics about the plot, but the vibes of this movie are essentially like, yeah, Dustin Hoffman is making a choice in this performance. And a lot of it is funny. It just is. It's funny.
I know.
But, but sitting there watching it, I never felt icky.
Yeah.
There wasn't a single scene where I felt bad about
Let me
it.
tell you why.
That's how good of an actor he is.
Well, and because you know why it's funny? Because you know who he's always with is Tom Cruise. It's funny because of the way Tom is reacting to him.
Yeah,
Tom Cruise is incredulous to everything he says.
Again, feeding to the credit of Tom Cruise in this movie.
Because Tom Cruise is a fucking idiot in this movie.
Right.
So he's like, why do you think, like, who's on first? You're not going to solve it. It's like, that's not the problem. He just remembers it.
You know what? I think I thought about this recently. Would like they actually call like a Amber Alert or a Gray Alert, which is for like old people when they get kidnapped or shit? Like, would they call in the authorities? Like, why didn't they?
So the problem is he was always a voluntary patient. And that's why it gets into this kind of weird thing.
Like, there's
of
a voluntary patient, and then this guy is convincing a, person with
mental deficiencies.
Thank you. Mental deficiency to go with him and be kidnapped and then blackmailing.
It's pretty insane.
Yeah.
It's one of those things where
But you were allowed to do that back then.
In the 80s were wild. This was before AIDS, right?
Yeah, AIDS actually it didn't exist in 1980.
Well, and I mean, it also probably speaks.
AIDS ruined everything.
Well, they actually renamed the 80s after AIDS in honor.
80s.
Wow.
80s. Oh, hey,
yeah.
Dude, Hunter, you're on fire
fucking
tonight.
on it.
That's lit.
Holy shit.
Look, he's got the ambulance hat on.
Fucking dude.
Yep.
Why didn't Tom Cruise ever make a movie with Michael Bay?
It's not.
Can we
Oh
talk
my
about
God.
that? Can we talk about
can't.
how much that would rule?
It's a rule that we can't talk about Michael Bay and Tom Cruise. There's obviously some Scientology
Michael,
shit going on.
Let's talk off mic.
That would be like the the scene in Annihilation when they're doing like the mirror dance, like Tom and Michael Bay.
Dude, who's the composer for that? We got to talk about him, or her, or them.
Or Zer. So anyway, I think partially that like the way that he's not like pursued speaks toward the ambiguity of autism back then, where it was just like he's high functioning compared to everyone else in the institution. He's high functioning. Yeah. So they're like, well, I mean, he's smart, but like he also can't function.
In the One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, who were just like misdiagnosed.
This is another thing that we were talking about.
We were chatting about
because
this,
that's obviously one of the first movies.
I haven't watched that movie in forever.
It's my favorite movie ever. And
really?
It holds up so well.
It does, and a lot of the reason why is similar to this movie, where like Milos is just like turning that camera on and just sort of he's doing,
and they're just being epic,
and he's doing a lot of like slow panning in that movie across like the institution. Like we're not moving, we're not even on a dolly. It's just like let's just look at these fucking people.
Have you seen the clip of Jack Nicholson accepting his Best Actor on set?
No.
Oh, it's awesome.
That's cool.
He was like filming a movie.
He was filming One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, and like I just remember like him accepting an award with like all the other actors around him, and they were like, "Yeah!" Like it was like I feel like the studio realized that he was gonna win, and they were like, "Stay here, film this with all the other actors." And then we'll make a shitload of money.
That's awesome.
That's like marketing without marketing.
It does a good job of having those characters like in the room and there and like depicted and having lines. But they're not the focus of the movie the way that Raymond is here. But so the big like one of the biggest things that informs the plot of the movie that we haven't gone into yet is the fact that over and over and over Charlie has to be reminded that Raymond is smart. It happens. That's there are five
toothpick
scenes.
Scene and the phone book happens.
Phone book and something else.
The phone
and then
book.
Like
the doctor.
3 days go by, and he's like, "Oh shit, you can remember."
Oh,
things,
the doctor
right?
with the calculator. Yeah,
the doctor.
I love that.
And that's the scene where it finally sticks with Charlie, and it kind of makes sense because Charlie's stupid. So like a man who's in a position of authority telling him that this guy's smart, he's like, "Oh,
shit.
he's smart." Yeah, for sure. He's like,
dude,
because that's the scene where he's like. he's a genius. And it's like
you
should be working for NASA
No,
or
the
something.
doctor should have been like, you needed me to tell you that?
Yeah, it's like-
the fucking guy's right there.
he
like, you don't-
memorized the phone book in a night.
he saw toothpicks and counted it immediately.
Watching
So there's
this
so
movie,
many scenes where it's that one scene, but just again because Tom Cruise is so dumb.
Such a white male. Thing
And
to
also
do.
probably I would assume it's because the audience at large needs to grasp the idea of someone being smart but also like lacking in other areas.
like hearing it from
they're like
autism.
makes it
Autism
better.
as a concept had to be introduced.
Yeah, so
to
there
the
are
masses.
just so many scenes where like he's rediscovering something that's very obvious about Raymond.
Honestly,
it's like, yeah, we know.
The thing is that like it should have just been like because I think it's the first time that you really see it on display is the diner scene where there's the phone book and then also the toothpicks. They all fall in is like
phone book,
Well,
do they
half a G.
the jukebox?
Yeah, the jukebox. That's a different diner.
Yeah, no,
I think,
exactly.
but-
It just I'm telling you, it keeps happening.
It's a lot of those that are repetitive.
It's like four
It's-
very.
And this is I
marked
bumped on this when I watched it, and then you started saying the exact same thing. You were like, he just keeps
It's repetitive
Cruz's,
scenes. It's
Cruz's
repetitive
acting in those scenes is the same. He's just like, oh my god.
He's like, wait a minute. Whoa,
What?
that's pretty cool, Raymond.
He like he's also just like not paying attention to this other person
Right.
that's with it. The
He's
whole time,
so selfish.
The whole time he's just like, I have to find a phone so I can like try and
Yeah.
call
The
this guy Lenny who's
the
just
most fucked
losing
up
us
part
money.
is he's like, blackjack, counting cards. Let me show you how to count cards. And he learns it in like half a second.
Yeah.
He's like, I can make some money off of this shit.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he is never
Instantly.
at any until like the last 10 minutes of the movie.
Right.
He is not an empathetic.
He's not
character.
accepting
Which
of
is,
it
like,
at all.
That's something that is, again, like going back to what we said at the very beginning, a credit to Cruise in this movie that he's willing to take this role where he is just a piece of shit throughout almost the entire runtime.
They're both thankless roles.
Like we're watching this movie, over 30 years later, and we're realizing this after one or two watches. Like, I'm surprised Tom Cruise wasn't like, my character is kind of a fucking moron over here.
I think that he did, but I think that that's kind of, it is the point. And it does, especially, like you've said, like we have to put ourselves in the shoes of 1988.
That's true.
Autism had just now been even put in the...
It was discovered
in
by Barry
the
Levinson.
mind.
According to the Wikipedia, this movie is credited with
diagnosing Sam Levinson.
maybe coincidental uptick in awareness for autism.
Yeah,
It
you
led
saw
to,
it.
like,
Yeah,
a-
yeah, you saw it. Yeah.
It led to like a huge, like a lot of people like funding it, and it was. I mean,
Well,
this was also should note was one of the biggest movies of the year whenever it came
That's
out.
like
this
that's
is
like
one of the
Diane,
very
Princess
few.
Diane shaking hands with the AIDS patient. Like, oh
Right.
wow, you can like be
It's
around.
actually
people with
exactly
AIDS.
it's actually exactly the same.
Well, because
It's the
people in
same
the '80s were morons from the sound of
they
it.
genuinely were.
Like,
It's like, well, and it speaks again toward another thing in this movie, because the things in this movie that you could bump on, like we said, like the first time I watched it, the fact that the idea, like that scene was so repetitive in the movie of like Tom discovering, it's like, but that's for kind of for audience purposes. The other thing is like
beating him over the head with it. Just
the
fucking
idea
shit
that
out of it.
no one in the whole movie has ever encountered someone who's like different. Like all the people in traffic or like who encountered Tom, and then
because
also
before the
Raymond.
'80s, you had to hide. Like,
That's the thing is, if you were of wealth,
or they'd send you to a mental institution.
yeah, that's when
which is
if,
fucked up.
If you had money back then and you had someone who like could not survive on their own, you just put them away. You put them in a spot.
Look up JFK's sister. That happened with her, and then you got to lobotomize.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what you did, and so it does sort of make sense. I still think that they're, especially in like lower class America, like they had encountered people who were different before.
But there was no gradation. That's the thing. It's like introducing the idea that like someone like this could be
and also
intelligent.
speaking toward the intelligence of the movie, the one person who does have a good understanding of like what's up
The
with
Italian girlfriend.
with Raymond. No, well, she's awesome. Yeah, she's just an empath and also
Yeah.
maybe kind of horny for him. But
Oh yeah, that's right. She does kiss him.
the one person who does have like an amount of understanding toward Raymond pretty quickly is like the redneck mother of those 5 blonde boys.
Yeah.
Oh shit!
Yeah, where they do which is an awesome
Well,
scene,
it's
by the
because
way.
she's raising children, and she's like,
I
oh,
know.
he's basically a child.
Well, yeah, but she doesn't ask any questions, or if we do it just does it does a really comedic jump cut because it's
back
like
then serial killers were a thing, and they could be like, "Hey,
I know
my brother over here. I need to get in your house
that
and watch
is
TV."
that is an awesome scene because it speaks toward how stupid
were back in the
Charlie.
80s.
No, well, how stupid Charlie is because he really thinks that like they're gonna get into that house with this Nielsen scam that they're trying to run.
We're just like,
$200 a month if
and
you want it.
yeah,
$2
and
a month, but I have to sit here for the next 30
that's
minutes
the thing.
in order
He
to get
thinks
money.
that he's gonna get in there and then Raymond's gonna be normal for a half hour.
Honestly, I think their
It
dad was
happens
like,
over and over again in this movie where he thinks like,
He's
hey,
so dumb.
Hey, can you just like not be autistic for the next
Yeah.
hour
And
and
he
a
gets
half?
pissed.
Yeah.
But that
What are
lady,
you doing? You're being autistic.
But the
his
lady
dad
that-
is like, Jesus Christ, I'm working with a bunch of fucking children over here.
but the lady who lets them in is sort of, pretty quickly she's sort of like, oh,
She
okay.
gets it,
All you had
yeah.
to do was tell me.
Can
like,
we watch cartoons? Yeah.
Yeah, and then they don't.
They don't.
Which is
Let's
that's
go.
that's a very comedic little cut thing. It's not like
It's kind of like
making.
I'll have what she's having in a way.
should we do 2 minutes on Susanna? Because I actually think
thankless.
I was just pulling up
I
Valerie.
wanna thank
Valeria Golino. I actually think that she is doing pretty good with the material that she is.
She should have gotten more roles.
It's unfortunate
Yeah.
for her. She was actually just in Portrait of
big
a Lady
roles.
on Fire,
Wait,
a couple years
what?
ago, and just like one of the ancillary roles. I'm pretty sure she plays like
She's the mom or something.
Well, she's
Yes.
actually
Yeah.
European, so
yeah. She's
Italian, GF.
She's done like a lot of.
I didn't want to
roles-
say because
a
if
lot of
she's in
un-American
Portrait,
roles.
is she actually French and I'm just stupid?
She reads very Italian.
Well, I was assuming Italian
She
just
reads
because
European.
he
Guys,
deals
come on.
in
She is
Italian.
she is Italian.
Yeah, because he
She's-
deals
okay.
in Italian cars, and like he's a dumb guy, so his ideal of being successful is like,
Is like, oh,
dealing
I got me
Lamborghinis and getting
Italian
Italian
woman.
GF. Yeah.
It's no that totally tracks. No, I think that she's good. I do think if we're gonna like have the one scene that sticks out like a goddamn sore thumb, it is her just being like, I have to kiss this highly autistic man in the elevator.
I didn't mind that too much.
I didn't mind it, but it's just like there's a while during it that you're like, why?
It doesn't really make sense because also it's not like Dustin Hoffman is just like he's suave but autistic. There's nothing like there's zero riz.
It's like
there's
pity.
negative riz. So it's like a pity kiss, but it's really weird. The scene before that
Sounds like how I got my girlfriend.
not the scene before that. The one because first he's like getting hit on by a lady of the evening, as they call them in Vegas.
Yeah, that's great.
Where
That's a fucking weird scene.
I kind of like that where he's just like she's very shiny, just because she has shiny
Of
jewelry.
course, I got to learn how to dance.
That's why he's like interested in looking at her. But then it does. Out of all of that, leads to the Tom Cruise and Dustin dancing
The
together,
dance.
which
Ugh.
is
I know.
so
That's
good.
that's iconic.
Perfection, man.
It is. It's an incredible scene. The elevators. Barry is like he's on another level from any time we've seen. Even Good Morning Vietnam, which is solid. This movie, I think he directs it way better. For example, in the elevator scene, it plays with tension so well. For example, the way when she puts down his like TV walkie-talkie, the entire scene, it is like there are so many shots down toward the TV where like their feet are going so close to it.
Yeah.
Because he's so focused on the TV.
And because I feel like or at least I was conditioned to think that like if like she steps on that thing or something, he's losing his fucking mind, and they're like stuck in that elevator.
It's a smoke alarm.
Something's about to go wrong.
Yeah.
Do you
There's
think
it kind of feels like it could get dark quickly.
Yeah,
And it
it's just
doesn't ever.
playing with
It's just
tension
kind of
because
a
that
tender
is a
moment.
tense scene, even if it's not negative.
It's tender, but only from one side, which is what makes the scene even more like interesting to dissect because it's more like tender and sincere from her end than it is on his end. Because at the end of the day, he's just like, it was wet. I kissed her, and it was wet.
Don't forget the scene with the Las Vegas hooker where she was like, "Hey, how's it going?"
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, she was shiny.
Shiny.
She was shiny.
She is the villain of the movie.
Oh yeah.
Well, yeah.
Do we
'cause
think
he
that
almost goes
she
to prison
actually
for counting cards?
Yeah, I was gonna say, do we think that she actually was the rat who?
I mean,
told
I don't
on
think
Yeah,
there's
she was the
absolutely.
rat.
like
so
there was no true antagonist in the movie other than Tom Cruise.
Yeah, it's really Tom, and then
Like,
he
he's
becomes,
yeah.
and then he's, you know, at the very end of the movie, there's one scene where he finally lets out like a great big smile, and like, you know, they start joking a little bit, and he's like, "I love you so
Yeah.
much."
I
And
did.
like a week ago, he was like the stranger, but this morning we had pancakes together.
Yeah, but also,
But also,
great
if
moment.
you put the syrup before the if you have to put the syrup before the pancakes.
Syrup.
If not, then
maple syrup.
I think though it's also a credit to the script that like in that scene he sort of implicitly, like via the way that doctor that you meet in the third act in particular, the one who's in that like sort of deposition
the
scene.
mediator.
I
yeah.
love that guy.
Yeah.
I think he does a sick job as an actor.
I don't even think he was an actor. It was probably like a guy who Barry found and was like, "Hey,
Is that wait?
do this exactly like
He
you
should-
would in
No.
a court
Do you
case."
guys want to know who that was?
Who?
Barry Levinson. That was
Yeah.
Dead ass?
I
Yeah.
was looking at
Oh
him.
my
I was like,
God.
Barry Levinson
Yeah.
in that scene.
I thought so. I thought so.
Barry.
I was looking at that guy. I was like, that looks like.
you
That's what
serious?
Sam
It's
Levinson is going to
Barry.
look like in 20 years.
Yeah, that's Barry himself
Yeah.
right there.
That's so cool.
Shit.
Yeah,
He's
he
so
killed
good.
It.
Yeah,
He killed
he's
it.
great.
He's
That's
really good. I love the way that his character is written, where like he clearly like is empathetic toward both Charlie
Right.
and Raymond. He cares the most about Raymond.
But he's steering the conversation in the direction where it needs to go, which is he cannot stay.
Yeah,
with
exactly-
Tom.
You
exactly.
kidnapped him. You took him to Las Vegas. He
spent-
almost had
Yeah.
a hooker have
You
sex
just
with
spent
him.
1 week with him.
yeah, like he
you're
has
not
his,
ready to
yeah,
take
he's
care
he's
of
a
him.
perfectly written character. He has his job like at the end of the line, but like he does at the beginning. There's a little bit of incision. Like he's very incisive, especially into Tom, where he's like, so. Okay, so you sort of had this realization.
It definitely
like,
grounds the
he
movie.
like summarizes
Yeah.
the movie for a second. He's
Yeah.
like, okay, so you've sort of realized that like you missed this
You
brother,
learned
and you like
something.
you want to have
Like,
him in
You've
your
gone
life.
on a bit of a
It's-
hero's
That's,
journey.
the movies are
literally.
good. The movies are awesome, but you
But
did
life,
this and
It's
this
just-
and
it's-
this, and it doesn't. It's not a good look.
It's a credit toward the script that like sort of implicitly in that scene, Tom realizes that I can't take care of this fucking guy. That would be insane.
Which honestly,
I
like
also-
he would never be able to.
No, absolutely not.
He doesn't have the tools or the
he's
wherewithal.
Literally that more. He's just like, he had like an emotional outburst, like here and then.
Yeah, he had, like,
he
7
did have
or 8
one like this
emotional
morning,
outbursts.
like 3 hours ago before we got here.
Yeah,
like, of course he's
exactly.
not. Actually
And then the doctor
capable-
goes, he hasn't had an emotional outburst in 2 years.
yeah, and
It's
so
one of those things where
it's so great.
I think it's also. I think that we watch movies smarter than, especially like, it's one of those things. Barry Levinson is kind of the best at this, about making movies that are both for smart people and for dumb people to watch. And we can watch this movie and realize the whole time Tom Cruise is a piece of shit. But also there's a dumb guy in 1988 who's like, oh dude, this is Maverick from Top Gun. He's hero of this thing. And then like, you have to have the Barry Levinson character be like, do you see how you're kind of a piece of shit? Do you see how like you're actually not the best person for this role right now?
Speaking of being a piece
and like
of shit,
it lays it out for Tom to realize that himself.
All right, so let's get to the categories.
thank you, listeners.
The first category is Tom swap. Could the other Tom Hanks, do this role?
It's called
0%.
No,
He could
Absolutely not.
he could do Dustin Hoffman.
yeah,
No.
it's called Forrest Gump.
No, even still. So I will say Dustin Hoffman does borderline on Tropic Thunder level of you never go full,
Rain Man.
but like you never go
for-
full Rain Man.
Never go full neurodivergent.
And like
You ever hear that, and Sam?
Dustin kind of does do that, but the humor saves him from that. Like Jack is a little bit closer to that version of it. I don't think Tom Hanks could be in this movie.
No.
I don't.
Well,
think it
okay.
happened.
We're about to cover Big next week, and based off of 80s Hanks, like
Is that the one where he has sex with a woman
Yes.
who's like over 30 and he's
bet your ass is, or he is 12. Yeah.
12 years old?
based on some other 80s Hanks that I've seen, like Splash that I mentioned before, Hanks in this era could be a little bit of an asshole.
Not this much though.
I know.
I mean,
This
but
guy's a horrible guy.
This is like the worst person you've ever met in your life.
Like it's one, yeah,
And
it's
that's
one
why
of the
it's-
worst main characters I've ever
I
seen.
think it's, I think that's kind of just a lost thing about Tom Cruise, especially for like our generation, that people just think of Tom Cruise as like, they think of The Last Samurai. Like they think of
Wait, Hunter.
What?
Everyone
Nobody is-
thinks of
Everyone
Maybe
thinks
War of
of
The Last
Night and
Samurai.
Day.
Yeah, there we go.
War of the
Everybody
Worlds.
thinks of Oblivion.
Yeah,
Hunter-
no,
The
Hunter.
Mummy.
My guy Hunter
You're-
knows the
All
zeitgeist.
right. You're being an asshole, and I appreciate it. You're playing Tom Cruise's character to a T in this movie.
Facts. It's because the last two roles that we covered have a lot of similarities with this part. They're just not this severe. Where like in Top Gun, Maverick is an asshole. Like he is a dick.
He's
but
a
it's
cutesy asshole.
that's the
though.
thing is
Yeah,
he's very cute.
exactly.
You can tell he means well, but he in pursuit of what he wants, he is unstoppable. He's like I don't want to piss everyone off, but I have to do this shit right now. I'm sorry. I have to. And the same
And it's slick and sweaty
I know.
and big.
and then
you
in
know,
Color of the
it's different.
in Color of Money, he's way less cool, but it's a similar thing where he's like, I can't not win this game of pool right now. I can't throw the game.
Are you
I
guys
gotta
gonna
win.
do a bonus Tom versus Tom where it's Top Gun Maverick and Elvis?
Now, I do think that both of them could play each other's parts there.
Oh,
I want to
yeah.
see Tom Cruise as Elvis.
I want to see Colonel. Oh fuck, what's his name? Colonel
Sanders.
No, come on. What's his name?
Parker.
Colonel Parker as Maverick. I do want to see that.
He's why.
It's just in this movie,
Yes.
he is so far gone. Like he is such a bad guy,
Right.
and he plays it so well. And I really can't name a lot of movies that are willing to give like an hour 45 to a bad guy, like being on screen.
Especially not like in today's day and age. I think that's one of the things about this movie that even despite any kind of issues that you might have to it, it's kind of just a movie that makes you feel nostalgic as you're watching it. It's like a real, like they don't make him like they used to.
Like he just stinks.
Because the closest thing that we have to this now is fucking Green Book.
Oh,
That's
why
like
you bring that up.
I'm saying that's literally the
Yeah.
closest thing that we have to this, and the fact that I'm
except
saying
it's
that's
autism instead of
he's
racism.
black. Like that's what it is instead of autistic. And that movie is dog shit. It needs to burn in hell.
How much have you had to
So-
drink tonight, Hunter?
It's true.
No,
He's
that's
speaking the truth.
I'm saying
I know the way
Green Book
the
is the
easier
worst
route
thing
would have
that-
been saying that he's Italian instead of autistic. That'd be so
The
easy.
Sopranos is just
He's-
it was
was right
commentary on autism.
Yeah, this show starts with him playing with ducks in a fucking pool.
Tony Soprano's
Yeah.
absolutely.
He's very
He's
interested in
autism
the
coded. Yeah, he's
tones,
autism coded.
He sounds congested. That's probably, I don't know. I'm not a doctor. Sound like the 80s doctor in the movie. He was like,
Morrow.
hey, hold on, let me do something. Just like hitting buttons on the calculator.
Of course, it is what it is.
Oh, let's see what I can do.
Of course, woke up this morning, bought myself a gun.
All right, next category is we're splitting this one. Favorite scene and most iconic moment. Two separate categories. So let's go
So
favorite
this
scene
isn't
first.
this isn't Tom's scene. This is just favorite scene of the entire. I mean,
I mean,
think
Tom's
mine-
gonna be in it.
I mean, I think no. But I'm just asking for the future of this category.
Yes,
it's the
yes.
casino scene.
Which
for favorite scene.
like the entire 5 minute, 6 minute, 7
Well,
minute part.
I just want
that's what I
everyone
mean
to
about-
say their favorite scene, because what you were saying earlier about like the choice of how the whole autism reads on screen for me is the dancing. Like, to me, that's my favorite scene in the movie. Like, that's like the best picture moment.
It
you
is,
know?
and it's also like, I love the end of it is like a moment of true vulnerability for Charlie, where he's like, all right, I feel weird. Like that's
Yeah.
the last line of the scene.
Yeah.
He's like, I don't know about you, but
I
feel
love
weird.
the gambling stuff. Like, that's a perfect nominee for iconic moment, because that's the most memorable part of the movie. But sitting there watching it, when I saw the dancing scene, I was like,
It's awesome.
This is best. This is the best picture.
So-
this is when people said this is the movie of the year.
I'm gonna hit you with the casino scene, but I'm gonna hit you with the Wheel of Fortune part.
It's the second half. It's
because
pitiful
obviously
20,
because it's
pitiful
like
20.
Yeah, 2020. It's 20, and it's because it's his true like. It's not him gambling, or no, it is him gambling. It's not him counting cards. It's him seeing something that he likes in Wheel of Fortune and saying, I want 20. I want 20. This is what I want. I want it to be 20 and I want it to hit. And you know what his brother does? He puts $3,000 on that fucking thing.
So that is
Insane.
too much blind. Honestly, listen.
Running hot.
Here's the thing. I've been on one of those heaters before where I'm like, I cannot lose.
Yeah, you've been to Hard Rock Seminole,
I have
Tampa?
fucking flames blasting out of my fingertips, and I'm like, fuck it. Throw 100 on black.
I one time did that at Seminole, Tampa. I was like, I walked in with 300. I was like, I'm gonna win it all on blackjack. I'm gonna pay rent.
How did that work?
You
for
can't go into it thinking I'm gonna.
No,
I was up $500, and I said, let's keep going.
Okay, no. You just gotta.
What
know.
we need to do is we need to go to Las Vegas and think we're gonna lose $5,000. That's the thing.
Probably.
I go every time that I go either. And I feel like I've now brought this into sports betting as well, where I'm just like, cool thing that I'm glad that I have $100 to lose this week. Then I end up coming up on top like a
Like
good,
you put in like
$70.
not like a parlay, like a 9-hit parlay.
Yeah, well, that's stupid. I do a little bit of that, but like only a little bit.
does.
Chat,
I do enough money on
Roast this man.
normal bets.
Chad, is this real?
Then I can cover this. Yeah, so
Of course,
the
Aaron
iconic.
Rodgers was up.
God damn. Oh my God. I knew you were going to bring it up at some point.
Of course, because we drafted him.
Of course.
I
Shane Station
did
was the
draft.
real.
Hey, he was my second option quarterback. Okay, he wasn't my first option. My first option was Deshaun Watson. Hey, I got McCaffrey.
Of course, the real mind behind the Eagles was Shane Station.
I'd rather Christian McCaffrey than Jamar Chase. Thank you very much.
Woo! How much money did Raymond make off of?
Oh shit! Wasn't it? It was almost $80,000 at least, right? He wanted to. hit.
Yeah, he won $80,000 in blackjack. I thought you were gonna ask how much would he make in sports betting, because the thing is, he would do very bad.
Everyone,
good. He's only good at something
baseball,
that he can specifically
that's
control.
Pre-recorded.
Yeah, he's only.
Yeah, he's like the
good.
Pete Rose of sports gambling.
Once it happens, you can remember it.
well, back in 1933, Tungsten Armstrong, he hit the
I
home
will
run.
say, honestly, now in the day and age of advanced analytics, like, get that guy a job at PFF tomorrow, because this guy would be like the
538.
best
Put him on
this.
538
Absolutely.
with Nate Silver.
Are you kidding me? He would never fuck up the 2016 election prediction. Never.
Of course, Michigan's undisputed.
You remember Stump the Schwab on ESPN?
Yeah, there you go.
He could be the Schwab.
He could be the Schwab.
Easy. It's like
Some ESPN classic.
We're getting
shit.
into some real degenerate shit right now. I knew that once we brought up the gambling scene, this was going to happen.
Listen, I did write down in my official notes for the podcast.
Here we go.
I miss Vegas. just I miss Vegas.
I've never been.
I want to go soon. I want to go before the end of the year.
I've heard it's a shithole.
It is.
I'm
It's
so excited to go.
the best shithole you've ever been
But
to.
I
in your
have to
entire-
have
Dude, I've
a lot
been
of
to
money.
St. Augustine. That's
Here's
pretty big
the thing.
shithole.
It's just, Vegas is fun. Also, if you aren't like betting and losing a lot of money, it's still a great place.
Stop! I don't want to hear it.
But
I need to have money set aside that I'm ready to
That does- that does help too.
that I'm counting as a loss before I even show up.
Hey.
You know what I mean?
Hey,
So I'm not worried about
I
it.
am turning 30 next year.
Hey, that is a.
What
hey,
if-
I got Marriott Bonvoy points?
What if?
if anything, we're staying at Mandalay Bay or something.
You
We're not
know-
staying at the fucking.
Well, we're not staying at MGM because of that bullshit this last couple weeks.
No,
with
we
the-
are
with the cyber
robbing.
attack.
We are robbing them.
Yeah, we are stealing.
Are we doing
people's
a
socials,
quick Oceans 11, 12, and 13?
But it's only for like
series?
people's social security numbers. It's not for.
We're just stealing. We're stealing people's
We're
identities.
actually doing the opposite of like steal from the rich. We're like, let's steal from the poor. Come on.
What do they got to lose?
Nah, they'll be fine.
Did everyone say their favorite scene? In the movie?
I said my favorite scene. Did you?
I think my favorite. Well,
The dancing.
I'm splitting hairs a little bit. My favorite moment is the casino moment, just because I think that there is something to say about this movie. About
Is that iconic? Are you saying
that's iconic? Because that is the thing that every time I watch this movie, I think that's a bigger plot point than it is, because it inspired like 27 worse movies. Like that's,
like,
it's 21. My Jim Sturgis heads out there. Jim Sturgis, Kevin Spacey heads.
Well,
less of those. I will say, I think my favorite Tom moment is the one I mentioned earlier, the will reading scene.
It did make,
because that's a star making.
It did make The Hangover like a pretty good movie.
Yes.
Did you say your favorite scene?
My favorite scene is probably the dance. My favorite Tom moment is when he gets out of the car and freaks out about the Kmart underwear.
That's good.
That's a good ass scene.
Kmart
also
sucks.
that scene more than any speaks to like, I don't know how many actors could do that. Like we're like, because
when make it believable.
Well, because when Tom Cruise screams, his voice gets really high pitched. Like it's like not intimidating. It's not, it's not cool at all. He's just like, what's the distinction between them?
That's a scene where it is written, but it feels improvised. Right. It feels like these two actors are actually sick of each other.
Well, and again, speaking toward Barry's brilliance in this movie, it's so wide. Yeah, it's so pulled out.
They're really filming all the way.
And it's
out
just
there.
like like a minute and a half of Tom just yelling about Kmart.
You also said that was every GF with a film bro boyfriend.
I did.
The amount of times that guy is pulled over on the side of the road.
Why does it have to be a criterion? It's the same movie
for $14 more.
You've already watched the movie. Why are you logging it on Letterboxd again a second time as a rewatch?
And you're tagging me in it. Why are you tagging me in it?
Of course, the Silver Book is better.
Of course, it's remastered.
Of course, it's not the original print, so it's losing some quality. It's not. It's not. What
it's
the
in 4K. It's in 4K.
Yeah,
it's not in 2K. It's in 4K.
Of course, we have to turn on motion smoothing.
It's in motion smoothing. I can't watch it. I can't watch the thing. I can't watch it.
Motion smoothing is on.
Honestly,
I have the same reaction as Raymond whenever I walk into somebody's house and they put on like a YouTube video and I see motion smoothing on.
For the late 2010s to now, that was Tom Cruise's like thing. Like that was his
Raymond when motion smoothing
that was his full Raymond moment, because he would always be like,
people's houses.
He's like, this is how you turn off motion smoothing. Are you ready? On Vizio, on Samsung, on LG. This is how you do it. Don't leave it on. Turn it off for your parents.
Cool. And we can never underestimate how cool of a thing that was. That before
it's a special interest.
I have multiple Blu-rays where Tom Cruise has an introduction before the movie on how to fix your television.
Wait, you would put it on the Blu-rays?
Yeah. No, it's on the Blu-ray. Yeah, I have. It's specifically on the Fallout one. Is the big one where it's him and McQuarrie together, just like hello. Before you begin your journey, let's tell you how to actually watch this movie the way it was intended. I love him,
bro. He is.
That's the real irony of this movie. Who's the real neurodivergent king
Tom
here?
Cruise's hyperfixation is doing his own stunts.
Yeah,
it's fact. Did I say this last week? Is like what's more impressive?
Guys, it doesn't look real. It doesn't look real. I can't do it. If it doesn't look real, I can't do it.
What's more impressive, Hoffman playing an autistic guy or Tom Cruise playing a non-autistic guy?
Oh God!
This podcast is definitely going Patreon only.
I got this.
All right.
Most iconic moment.
It's the casino. It's the actual.
To me, it's the shot of them, the poster,
the road, baby.
Road. Yeah,
come on,
with the fucking Hans Zimmer flute, the pan flute blasting. Like that shit hits so good.
I hate to be that guy, but when he's saying bye to him and he like fully embraces,
dude, he
fully embraces his brother, and he's like,
dude,
I understand you. He understands his brother. He doesn't hate him as a person, or he doesn't hate him for his quirks. He likes him for who he is.
This movie did make me cry.
I'm saying that as a person who has been accused of being autistic.
Accused?
Bro's not beating the allegations. The head touch moment is.
Have you listened to the past 2 hours of podcasting?
The head touch moment.
No, I haven't listened. I've been living it. There's a difference. I'll rewatch this and be like, oh
all of us are being
God.
accused.
I was like, I'll just be like, oh no, I can't beat the allegations. It's official.
We're gonna get a third party to come in here. We're gonna hire someone.
This gin got me acting neurodivergent.
It's official.
Oh God.
What has everybody's hyperfixation been lately?
For a long time it was golf.
That's so.
I'm gonna be honest. It's still a little bit of golf. I have a club that snaps whenever you have bad form that I just sit in my office.
Like the
Every
Wii
time
remote
I'm
where
on
it's
the-
like,
have that?
Yeah, I'll be on a Zoom call with like a client that's mad at me. I'm like, oh, I'm so sorry to hear
Nice.
about your bad experience.
When did you get that?
I just had one. My grandparents gave me one, and I've just been working on my.
That's so
my
gangster.
iron play has been on point.
I'm so mad
I
that you
need
have
the
that.
same
You two-
thing
you
for
two
my
gotta go to
fucking
mini
woods
golf
and my
soon.
drivers.
I'm gonna have to get that club. I can't let you surpass me.
WBAM vlog mini golf.
We're gonna have to talk off mic about how I'm gonna have to practice pickleball without you because you're already better than me at golf.
Oh,
and
that's
I
your
can't
new
let you be-
hyperfixation,
I can't
right?
let you also be better than me at pickleball.
Well, I'm a tennis guy, so I have an advantage.
Ernie's gonna be the best at us at pickleball because
Yeah.
you already know.
I'm the laziest over here with
I
poker.
actually judge you because you're not a tennis guy and you're demoting.
Yeah, you're like,
yourself
oh,
to
so
pickleball.
it's tennis for lazy people, huh?
Yeah,
So you just don't
exactly.
want to move.
Yeah. So now is the
Where can we put Robin in this movie? Is that where we're at?
no now is the
Robin as Raymond would.
it would be almost.
I
Like,
know where to put Robin.
hold
in this
on,
movie.
you're skipping. Jesus Christ!
Skipping what? Your fucking list that only you can see?
you don't
What?
share the Google
Doc.
Doc. You're not sharing the Google Doc with everyone.
This.
I don't want to see it. I wouldn't read it.
Oh wait,
Go
no,
ahead.
this one is not shared. I
Go
just
ahead,
realized.
Ernest. Go ahead.
Okay, all right. Tom hair, Tom brow,
Okay.
Tom teeth.
This
I'm
is
so
this
glad
is
this came out.
this
I
is
like
such an important.
Because this is like the new version of
This
Tom.
this is a nexus where
Wait, Top Gun was.
so let me hold on. Let me.
it's different, man.
No, it's
I
kind
need
of
to-
bad.
I
It's
need to
very
jump, I
different
need to jump
here.
around a little bit. Let me jump to brow real quick.
Please.
The brow situation in this movie is pretty close to my
Hunter's
brow
looking at
situation.
cocktail.
Yeah, like it's pretty gone.
It's nice.
Like my brow, compared to Tom's brow in this movie, is like, you know, if you don't pluck it for a couple weeks, it's just what it looks like. You know.
Oh
so
my God!
So
You guys
I'm
want
going
to?
3. I'm going 3 out of 5. I'm going 3 out of 5 with the brow.
I will say
Wait, you're
this
talking about
is-
your brow?
you're judging
You
your
were
own
talking-
Every
brow.
Yeah, I was
episode,
like, you're
every episode
comparing
we
it?
rate Ernie's brow.
I was like, you're comparing
Out
it to
of five.
Tom's
So-
brow right now.
So I will say
I'm judging his brow in comparison to what I see in the mirror.
Okay, because my brow. I have a funny story about my eyebrows. If you guys want to hear it.
Please.
Okay, you ready? Real quick. So I was under 8, and I had gum, and so I put the gum.
God.
I did like this thing where I took the gum and I put it here.
Ew.
Yeah, and so I put it there, and it got stuck, and so my mom was like, "Well, we're gonna have to rip it out." So I had fucked up eyebrows for a year or two.
What kind of gum was that?
It was
How
high.
sticky
It was
is
like
that gum?
industrial or
Jesus.
some shit.
oh my God.
Laffy Taffy.
Yeah, but so for a minute there, I had fucked up eyebrows.
So you like Tom Cruise's brow in this?
I mean,
movie,
his
'cause
is
you're
better than
jealous.
his eyebrows were better than mine when I was 7 or 8. Yeah, so.
When you were in 1988.
I like the comparison to your brow, Ernie, because it's like if it were anyone else, it would be like, oh yeah, I guess he just hasn't plucked in a while. However, we know how Tom's brow
That's what I'm
gets.
saying.
Because Tom's brow up until this point has been
Dude,
crazy.
in Color of Money,
have you seen Color Money?
Wild.
I haven't.
It is
but
it's fucking
I was
Anthony
listening
Davis
to.
level.
That's the
unibrow-
reason I didn't finish the podcast because I was like, I do want to watch this movie at some point.
The unibrow is nuts.
It's Anthony Davis shit. It's just one.
Even in Top Gun, he's got some.
right,
he
but,
has
but
So
that's
it
because
really-
the camera is way closer in Top Gun than
he had
in
some
this movie.
serious uni, and in this movie he doesn't. It just seems like, oh yeah, he's just like a normal guy.
What's
who,
crazy is he did risky business, and he was the all-American kid, and he wasn't this fucking
it was a thing
crazy
in the 80s.
unibrow.
In the 80s, people just
teeth
had
guy.
the unibrow.
No.
It changed really actually in the movie the same year as this in Cocktail. In Cocktail,
No.
actually,
The Forgotten
gotta see
Son, just like
Cocktail.
Raymond.
we'll talk about Cocktail on a different pod.
You got what I was
because
going for.
Cocktail is
Are
it
you
a good
saying,
movie?
are you saying
I don't
Cocktail was the autistic savant of Tom Cruise?
know. Well, it's
movies?
him.
It's a
you know,
special interest.
Listen, it's him.
He's
being-
really good at it.
It's him being.
He hyperfixated on being the
He's-
best cocktail.
He's a mixologist. He's
Bartender.
not a bartender. Don't you dare call him.
Mixologist,
He's
you're
a
right.
mixologist.
When he rains, he pours. Okay.
No, isn't it when he pours, he rains?
Oh, I don't
that's the,
He makes
the
it-
joke.
I know he like
there's
fucks like a
there's an
40-year-old
Oppenheimer
woman
joke
in
in there
this.
somewhere.
Damn.
No, this is really where it changes. We'll talk about Cocktail on a separate pod, but I think that this is
When?
like
When?
a
Yeah,
it's-
that should be the Patreon episode.
It's coming. It might be a catch-up episode. Who knows? Where
You
I'll
can
just
put me
talk
on for
about it.
Cocktail. I'll watch that soon.
It's is that movie good? I don't know.
Doesn't it have
But
like a 14% on
it.
Rotten Tomatoes?
14?
It made a
It's low,
shitload of money.
But isn't it super like critically reviled?
We'll talk about it in a different pod.
Color of Money, it's
it's-
super autistic.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Tom Cruise. I think it's pretty good. I'd give it like a 3.5 to a 4. It's about as good as it
The
can
Brow.
get.
So that's
yeah, the Brow.
7 and
Okay.
8.
So now the hair and the teeth.
The hair, I think, is a minimum of 4. I think that the hair is good in this movie.
The hair is fucking great.
The hair's phenomenal.
that's what
I go
I'm saying.
for
Like
I go
he
for
put
with
some
the hair.
gel
I said
in that
minimum
shit.
4.
Like he was working.
minimum 4 out of
this
5.
to me,
You're a Lamborghini Ferrari seller. You better have good hair.
especially
at
the
very
Lamborghini
least.
Ferrari seller like adds to the fact that it's a little bit shaggy because that was like kind of hip. It was a little bit European.
yeah, his
Someone thinks
hair
at
is
4.5.
his hair is incredible. It's
Hold on.
what?
Cocktail has a 9% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Even lower than 14%.
Let's
even
go.
lower.
Wow. This
Don't you
this
dare call him
That should
bartender.
definitely
He's a
be.
mixologist.
No, I got it, guys. That's your commentary episode. Tom versus Tom. Cocktail.
it's
Maybe.
there
We'll see.
there are certain
And then Simple Jack.
there are certain shots or scenes where like I was just looking at his hair and I was like, this guy just has so much hair in this. I'm so jealous.
It's
like
so
his-
thick
voluminous.
and nice.
yeah, like this is a guy who will never lose his hair, and then he didn't. But the big step here is the teeth.
Yeah.
This is the first movie.
He definitely got it
It's
fixed.
perfect.
Yeah, because
got
he
it
had already had work done from like the beginning of the series until like into
He has
Color
3
of
front
Money.
teeth.
And he also obviously from when he was a kid he had like a dead tooth in the front. So like he had gotten that
But
fixed. So
Top Gun, he has his teeth fixed, but in the middle
but
of
it's
his
not,
mouth.
Well, it's
not
just
set center.
Well, it's about the way that like it sets his jaw is how you can tell like the amount of veneers that he has in this movie. This is the first movie that I think he actually looks like hot. You know what I
Oh,
mean?
absolutely,
Like
yeah.
I even
You
in
gotta like if you're gonna have that girlfriend, you better have some.
yeah,
work
it's
done.
just like he really has
You
like
believe it.
He
Yeah.
really has like
The
a movie star
jawline.
head for the
Mhm.
first time. Even in Top Gun, if you rewatch it, he's kind of twerpy.
He's
in weird ways.
boyish.
Yeah. And in this movie, this was the first time that like he like I don't know, he had a sort of a different
like when you look at Val Kilmer and Tom Cruise and Top Cruise, Val Kilmer is gonna be the
Top
the
Cruise.
Tom Cruise.
Tom Cruise.
Did I say Top Cruise?
Tom Gunn.
Well,
Gun.
Top
with
Cruise,
Color of Money though,
Hey,
Paul
dude,
Newman comes in
Tom
and you're
Cruise
like,
gave me his-
please.
Paul
I wish
Newman.
this
Paul
up.
Newman. Look, no homo. Paul Newman's
Full-
probably like top 10
Here's the thing,
man
all
of
the
all
homo.
time.
full homo. Like,
Yeah.
So
put me in
much
a sandwich
homo.
of Paul Newman right now,
He-
and he
yeah.
has been dead for
That's
like if
over
Paul
10
Paul
years.
Newman was like, "Hey, I want to cuck you," would you allow it?
1,000%. Are you kidding me?
My
I would
special
just be happy to
interest
be there.
is Paul Newman playing pool.
I thought you were about to say cucking you, but okay, that works.
Sure.
If Paul Newman can be involved however he wants, even if he just wants to like lather me in ranch.
Ooh,
His
that'd be
ranch.
hot.
In his
His
ranch,
ranch, yeah.
yeah.
Newman's
Oh,
ranch.
Newman's own,
We
just a
should
nice
do-
vinaigrette.
Going back to what I said before about setting Patreon goals for the number of subscribers, we should do a tasting episode
a
of
Newman?
Paul Newman's products.
We like take shots of vinaigrettes.
No, you'll be like Melissa McCarthy in that one SNL skit where she's just like full on like bathing herself in ranch.
So subscribe to the Patreon.
If you want to see them bathe in ranch.
Okay, running Does he run at all?
Maybe at one point to catch him when he's in the road.
He kicks the dirt.
Oh, yeah, when he's in the intersection.
He's running, right? Yeah, he
so
runs in like catches
We'll give
him.
it a 1. We'll give it a 1.
Yeah, one.
It's not anything.
Yeah. It's something important, nothing special.
Okay.
Hey, he's gonna be running as we get further along in the series.
Once you get to Minority Report, you're like, when will you stop running, brother?
Re-caging and re-Robin couch.
So I have the perfect Robin answer.
Okay.
So Robin, I want full barbiturate awakenings level Robin as Dr. Bruner.
Sure. Yeah, no, that's
That's who I want, like him fully just like we have to take Raymond back to the facility.
It sounds more like him and Good Will Hunting, if than anything.
We have to take Raymond back to the facility. You don't understand. You can't give him the proper care.
Dude, Hunter's the MVP of this podcast tonight.
Hunter's impressions.
Please watch Awakenings.
Once he gets an impression down,
yeah,
it's incredible.
And especially once he gets some
It's
gin
just
in
like-
him, he's like, I'm
the
off
thing
to
is,
the
he's
races.
willing to demo.
Don't ask me to do an impression.
Yeah,
on the
do it
spot,
on your own.
because I'll
Do it on your
bang
own.
my head.
Yeah, he's
I'll
all.
fucking
Yeah,
slap
that's the
myself
problem.
on
Is
the
you're very willing to demo an
No,
impression
hey,
before
hey,
you got
I
it.
will say
Don't pull a Raymond where you're like, I can't.
I'll practice. I put the work in. Okay.
He'll show us the steps to getting there. It's like inside the actor's studio, you know.
Do you guys have a Robin? Because I have a
cage.
I have a cage too.
I think the
Of course.
I don't know.
Who's on first? Yeah, that's what I said. Yeah. Who?
No, what's on second?
Who?
So if Cage is in
I'm an
this
incredible
movie,
driver.
is this the worst movie ever made? If Nicolas Cage is in this role,
it doesn't
It's
go
tiptoes.
above.
It's tiptoes level.
It doesn't go above a 2 out of 10.
You know what I'm talking about, Drew? With
generous,
tiptoes,
man. I don't know.
Gary Oldman plays a dwarf. It's fucked up.
I would put Robin as Cruz and Cage as Dustin and let him have at it.
Could you imagine Robin being the angry one
No,
and
that's
Nicholas
the
being like,
opposite.
wait, you said
can't-
Cruz. Cruz is,
Wait, you want Robin to be Cruz and
That would be
Cage to
funnier, but the
Hoffman?
it would be way better if it would.
if
like,
it was opposite.
yeah, because Cage playing
Cage
an
can-
asshole would be
yeah,
fine.
no,
Cage
you're
can
right,
get
you're
out of the
right.
car and
That's
be
the
like,
better
"What's
movie."
going on? Are you kidding me right now?"
And Robin
Throwing his
absolutely
underwear.
loved doing like method roles and like doing like pretty
Right.
bad at them, so he'd be great.
No, that is the better. That is the better movie.
It would be
Can
like
we-
it would be like the 1988 version of Old Dogs when you think about it.
Here's where I want
Kmart
Cage.
sucks.
Here's where I want. Here's where I want Cage to be in this movie. I want to make this movie instead of like it's like a 220 right now. I want to blow this thing up to 3 hours, and instead, whenever they get in the casino scene, I want Nicolas Cage to be there as his character from Leaving Las Vegas. Just this like
he just shows up out of
belligerent-
nowhere.
This belligerent drunk, and then he starts like shaking Dustin Hoffman because he's just losing his mind, like flipping tables.
How are you counting these
And
cards?
Dustin Hoffman's just like, oh! That's what I want to have happen here.
So-
Is a belligerent drunk, like a true alcoholic in the most toxic and sad way possible, trying to like interact physically and verbally with Dustin Hoffman in this movie.
What is the distinction?
Jesus Christ.
Why does it matter where we get your underwear?
So, are we going to take the see if we're autistic test? Are we going to do that test?
Can I? Are there any other categories? Or
That's it. We're done.
I looked
one
at his
thing.
computer and I was
Can
like, I think that's it.
Can I just have to mention this on the pod that I was watching this movie. I put it on last night with a wife of the pod, Gaia. And Gaia had never seen Rain Man before. I didn't finish it with her, but she did tell me that while watching this, she thought that Rain Man was do you guys know the PlayStation character Rayman.
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah, she thought this
yeah,
was
yeah.
a movie of like Rayman, but he's in a casino and he wins lots of money.
The PlayStation character.
Yeah,
Like, wait,
like Who Framed Roger Rabbit
Before you
level.
started the movie or like after the movie?
No, like
started?
while watching it, she's like, I don't think this is that movie.
Oh my god.
Yeah, that's not it. Zach, the quiz on clinicalpartners.co.uk
Is this the same one that had
is 30
Susan-
questions long.
That's not bad. We could do the questions.
30 questions is
together.
not long enough.
Like we could all do it together really quickly.
That's
think
not.
I'm going to tell you right now,
that.
it's going to be a hard yes.
to doing
The
it.
fact that we've recorded for 2.5 hours. So I'll just cut to the chase on that one.
You're diagnosing me.
Yeah.
Oh,
all
okay.
of
Here
us.
we go. All of us.
We just did a special interest podcast on
You've
one
been.
movie.
I'm sorry, but you were terminally a podcaster.
Poor sons of bitches.
The fact that you're here is already enough.
The fact that I only went on for Rain Man because of the bit says a lot about me. I will admit
Was it
that.
the bit? No, it was not the
it was
bit.
definitely the bit. Because who else? Like, what else were the options? Born on the 4th of July. I've never seen that. I don't. That's not famous. I don't know what's behind that.
I don't know. Jerry
Philadelphia.
Maguire?
Like Jerry Maguire. I've never watched that. I don't have like a nothing behind it. Like I'm into sports, but not like that.
Watch Jerry Maguire.
So what's
go and
funny?
watch
What's
Jerry
funny?
Maguire.
I
You were
watched.
here for the chaos.
Honestly, I watched the first 20 minutes of Jerry Maguire, and I was like, I'm falling asleep.
God damn it.
I'm gonna watch it.
You
I'm gonna watch it.
motherfucker.
Watch
It was on
Jerry
Netflix.
Maguire is like a top.
He
tier movie.
just finished writing out his
You know what
manifesto.
might have happened is you might have been tired.
I might have been tired.
That
I
day.
was in bed like about
Yep.
to fall asleep, and I was
So,
like, I'll start it.
You were,
Here's the thing.
over, you
You
were
know what?
overstimulated and hit.
if you fall asleep during Jerry Maguire, that means that you do not love black people.
Whoa!
Tom Cruise
You hear that,
specifically,
everyone?
he says, "I love black people."
That means that you haven't run.
That's my favorite quote from any Tom Cruise movie. You didn't know that?
That's my favorite Tom.
You
That's my
haven't
favorite.
run
That and Show Me the Money.
You haven't run from the field to the woman of your dreams.
I do want to watch Radio.
Oh, okay.
With Cuba
Well, that's a
Gooding Jr.?
different scene. Well, we're not doing.
A Cuba series would get sad quick.
Yeah, like
Cuba series would like drop off and get really
Snow
sad.
Dogs, incredible.
Yo, I'd go on for Snow Dogs.
I mean, everyone would be fighting over Snow Dogs.
Good luck.
Old dogs, snow dogs, just have me on for every dog movie at this point.
So Jerry Maguire is perfect. It's unreal.
I will watch it.
I
I
have
will
sort of
watch
like a personal canon that Jerry Maguire is just Charlie Babbitt, like post evolution, like once he becomes like a better guy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because in that movie,
actually-
he's still an asshole, but he's like, he has a good heart.
I've thought about this before with other actors of how the roles feed into each other. in
This is
different
a good one.
performances, and this is a really
Because
really
by
good
the
one.
end, because the whole movie watching it, I was like, maybe I'm wrong about this. Rewatching Raymond, I was
don't
like,
think
he
he-
sucks, but at the end, he doesn't suck so much.
But no, he still doesn't. Do we think he changes like
Redeemable.
fundamentally
He's
as a
redeemable.
human being?
Well,
I still feel like he like
no,
kind of.
that's the thing is, I guess
he's still like probably like bad at his job and still always
course.
looking to like be like a skeevy little salesman.
That's the thing is the real way that this theory doesn't work is the fact that in Jerry Maguire he is smart because like being a sports agent is really hard, and in this movie I genuinely think this is like maybe his lowest IQ character he's ever played.
You don't think Les Grossman was pretty low IQ?
No, Les Grossman is like. Les Grossman is one of those people who has like a 140 IQ test, and he lets everyone he's ever fucking met know about
I mean,
it.
it was pretty smart to say.
And it's
Where's
just
the
like,
key
I don't know,
grip?
maybe the
Facts.
IQ test actually doesn't test everything.
Yeah, being you can't make it in Hollywood without being a freaking genius.
Hollywood.
All right. As we start to wind down, I just wanted to mention something we almost got to last section, but I didn't get to, is this movie was the highest grossing movie of 1988.
That's
Makes
crazy.
sense.
With
Makes
only
sense.
a $6 million opening weekend. This was a true word of mouth movie where people are like, yo, you have to go see Rain Man.
Those are always the best, though.
$6 million.
Yeah, and it became the highest grossing movie of the year. And it came out in December, too. It's not like this was like had months and months to get there.
Wait, I mean, well, doesn't highest grossing movie technically, like, as long as it's released in that year?
No,
it's
but
considered for that
yes,
year?
but like, I mean, it still only had a limited runway.
Yeah.
to actually get
It
there.
was one of those. Okay, we're gonna get a lot of emails about this. This movie was technically released before Big, which we're covering next week at the Berlin International Film Festival.
At the Biff.
But it got a wide release later in the year during award season.
Yeah.
And then it got nominated.
Okay,
Lo and
so it
behold.
came out December 16th, 1988, premiered number 2 behind Twins. Okay.
What a movie. Two brothers movies.
It's just
you
two
know?
brothers.
It's
just-
two brothers.
That's going to be our next series.
That's one thing that's cool about
This
the
is a
80s is the
two-brother
best
series.
thing you could be is two guys.
Yeah.
Man, don't you miss just dudes being
And-
bros?
Yeah, it ended at 172 mil for the
Damn.
year. Number 1 for 88, then Who Framed Roger Rabbit, Coming to America, then Big,
God
then
damn, what
Twins.
a fucking cool
Incredible.
year.
Honestly, even the Oscars and stuff like that, I
That's-
just closed my laptop, but if you look at like who was nominated in the best actor pool, it's like, where were we gonna fit Tom in there? Because
That
even if
year-
the movies aren't great, it's like, well, where are we gonna kick out Max von Sydow and his film for Tom Cruise? Like, I don't know, man. Like, it's really tough
That was
unless you were
definitely
making
the
like
end
a
of,
huge Oscar fraud kind of thing and putting him in supporting role or something like that. Like,
can't.
It's stacked. It's
Yeah.
too stacked.
That was the end of the cocaine years, though. Like 1984
Well,
was
yeah,
the development. 85 was like, all right, pre-production. 86 was, we gotta figure this out. We really gotta
was
figure this out.
nominated
87 was
against-
the filming, and then
against-
88 was Big, Twins, Rain Man, just fucking cocaine-addled.
He was nominated against Tom Hanks for Big.
Yeah. So who else was it? It was Tom Hanks, Hoffman, Max von Sydow, I know is nominated.
Yeah, Gene
Hackman
for Mississippi Burning.
Yeah, Mississippi
and
Burning,
Edward
that's right.
James Olmos
Yeah.
for Stand and Deliver.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's tough.
They
That's
loved
a
those
tough
teacher
fucking
movies.
category. Yeah.
They really do.
But also that is like a who's who of actors. With the exception of Tom Hanks got the Tom Cruise role.
Right.
The Tom Cruise spot. It probably was between those two. And what are you going to do? Split the votes between the two of them?
I think Tom Hanks could do Rain Man, but Tom Cruise couldn't do Big.
Sure.
We'll talk about that next week.
I'm not here next week.
Any final thoughts on Tom Cruise, Rain Man, Dustin Hoffman?
I think after this podcast, it was really enlightening and like, you know,
I feel enlightened.
right? You know, just like we really figured out some things after these conversations.
This has been a true meeting of the minds.
Like we should definitely bring a therapist on here, and that therapist
It's
should.
not your fault.
It's not your fault. It's not your fault.
Any
It
final thoughts,
is your
boys?
fault. Therapist watching this podcast. That's your fault.
I don't know if it's I might have to sleep on this about if I should have actually bumped this movie back up, because talking about this movie with you guys, this
It's
movie is
great. I love
this movie
it.
You're gonna
is
take it
fucking
from an
rules,
8
man.
to a 9?
I had it at 4.5 stars, and then I watched it. I was like, this is
I love this movie. I liked it better on rewatch, weirdly, because I was already like primed for the fact that it's not going to be plot heavy. It's going to be a vibe.
yeah.
And it is.
nails all those
It's an
things.
incredible vibe. It fucking rules. It's such a great dynamic. I love the way it draws comedy out of
Our boys.
the character that you're allowed to draw comedy out of. It draws the comedy out of Tom Cruise.
I was just shocked at how much I vibe with Dustin Hoffman's performance. Like,
Yeah, you're
I
just-
was honestly
great.
expecting
It's
to bump
excellent.
on it. Like, I was expecting to be like icky, to be weirded out.
Like,
by
you know,
it.
It
he's a
truly
good
is
actor.
one of like the great two-handers of that time.
Yeah. No, I loved it. Anything else? Are we done?
No, nothing. To add?
It'll be interesting whenever we get to the end of this and we have the conversation of who does Tom Cruise have the most chemistry with throughout any of these movies. And it might be Dustin Hoffman and Ving Rhames. Might be the two.
Because Tom Cruise is a very me actor. He's I'm the main character.
He vibes with boys. He vibes with the boys.
Yeah, like shit.
Much like me in a lot of ways.
What films with female leads has he done other than Jerry Maguire?
Rebecca Ferguson, Rogue Nation.
Yeah.
No, that's a cop out.
Let's go.
Speaking of cop out,
All right.
He's gay.
We'll wrap it up there.
He's redacted.
Thank you all for listening.
Yeah, for real though. Dustin Hoffman showing out and like realizing like autistic people are just that people.
Incredible.
They're not some thing that we can like galvanize and look at and be like, what's this thing? It's like, no, these are people.
He's playing a
trying
guy.
to live their lives.
The moment he does a great job with is the train scene, because when they're saying goodbye, even though he's still doing his same mannerisms as Raymond, his eyes are watering.
Yeah. Well, he says, and he does also like you're my main man Charlie. And everything. It's just that the ending is so good. I love the ending of this movie.
Yeah, that was something you put in your review, that it was nice that they didn't just say I love you and go all
it's so
schmaltzy.
True to the characters, and it doesn't feel disingenuous.
It's a weird movie to be a hater for. Like why be a hater for Rain Man?
Because it's great.
Yeah.
It's great. Good
It's
movie.
great. All right. Thank you all for listening. Please rate, review, subscribe, like, and comment. Let us know your thoughts. Check out
subscribe to the Patreon.
weboughtamic.net and get every episode in your inbox. Join the Discord. Donate. Thank you, patrons, for donating. Patreon.com/weboughtamic. Subscribe. $5 a month. WBAM Familia. WBAM Plus Max Extra. Plus. Subscribe.
I don't want to talk about Max.
We'll never shorten our name.
Next week, finally, it's Hank season, baby. We're talking big, and we're getting into it.
Thank God I'm not on for that one. Like, I can do autistic people. I can't do,
you can't do little guy become big.
I can't do little guy become big and have sex with big lady. I can't do it.
Thanks for coming on.
Hey,
Zach.
Thanks for having me. I really do appreciate this.
Plug the things. What you got?
I don't really want to plug anything. I kind of want to shout out someone that had a big moment through the internet. Her name is Kira. She is the
friend of the pod.
She recently became the social media manager for Super Yaki, the website that gives us all the best shirts possible. I'm definitely going to buy one soon just because she's the social media manager.
It's a big get.
Yeah, but shout out Garlic Emoji Kira of Zillennial Canon for doing that. I really am happy for you.
We have two. Are we off or something? I can't hear anything anymore.
I can hear us.
Oh, really?
I hear you loud and clear, baby.
We have two regular guests on the pod that their handle is at, and then
mango emoji and garlic emoji.
Yeah, we have mango emoji too.
We got them.
Man, we got all the emojis.
Well, thanks for coming on, man.
Thanks for having me, boys.
We'll have you on again soon. We'll see you next week for Big. We're getting big. We'll see you next time.
Who is the guest for Big?
You'll see.
Ooh, I'm excited.
Does that mean you don't know?
I don't.
I'm talking to Ernest.
I'm scheduling it. We'll see you then. Bye.
Bye.